Hello and welcome to another episode of Good Brews, Bad Views, the podcast that asks if great beer makes bad movies any better. I am your host, one Max Nestorowicz, and joined by my two Lost in Time and Space hosts, one James Thorpe.
Hello.
And one Ryan Everart.
What's
How are
up,
you
though?
guys?
I'm well. I'm doing quite well. It's at the time of this recording, it is St. Patty's Day.
It is.
Yeah.
Hopefully we are alive after today. Because
Whatever.
today's movie is one very, very much feels like 2 hours and 10 minutes long. Lost in Space from 1997.
Starring Joey.
Starring Joey.
Oh, God.
And Duke Leto Atreides.
Yes.
And William Churchill.
Yep.
So, funny as it may be, based off our scheduling, this episode will be coming out right as the Netflix TV series of Lost in Space debuts. So, after you've blazed through those 10 or so episodes, why not give this one a shot?
Yeah, I don't know what to expect out of that. I mean, Netflix has such an ability now, clearly, to make incredible content, but also to make content that is just a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in seeing how this will go with the series.
I've watched the trailer, and it seems to go a little different route, maybe.
Okay.
Looks a little darker.
I've seen nothing for it. That would make sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, Lost in Space really does lend itself to a TV format far more than a movie format.
Yeah.
And the TV show was known as being extremely campy.
Yes.
Right.
So that was one of the criticisms about this movie we're about to watch today. It's pretty dark at times.
Yeah.
So, but if this is your first time joining us, welcome to the podcast. We'll be watching a bad movie, drinking some good beer, making some observations about the quality of the film and the beer, and hopefully having a merry old time. The podcast is designed to be watched alongside the movie, but you don't have to if you don't want to, but you'll probably get the most out of the experience if you do. We are watching this on Netflix, which, conveniently enough, also, where it will be for the TV show. And I think that's about it.
Yep. So, if you are watching along, with us, we have it queued up on Netflix. 13 seconds in, the New Line Cinema logo has finished settling. So again, if you're watching along and want to participate, press play now.
1998.
Subtle thing here that I really appreciate that we'll find out later that the Earth is dying, effectively.
Yes.
That when they show the Earth right there, it is brown. There's very little green on that Earth if you look.
Yes, that's a little detail. So we have 1997 CGI. This movie came out beginning in 1998. So
this doesn't look bad.
No,
Yeah, this looks okay.
no, big set piece. But so this looks okay. But the closer you get and the longer you look at it, you're like, ugh, this is
Yeah, close-up
This is-
CGI
yeah.
is bad here.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll get to a few moments where it's like, oh, this is just terrible PS1.
yeah.
Just nonsense.
PS1
Yeah.
It's just muddy and gross.
Yeah.
So this movie came out, I believe, early in 1998. It was actually the movie that dethroned Titanic from number one at the box office.
Huh.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, Max with the facts.
After like 17
Max with the
weeks
facts.
at number one or whatever.
I'm not going to pick on the CGI too much. I mean, it is 20 years old.
Yeah.
But we will point out, I'm sure, when it gets really, really rough
Yeah.
looking.
Well, I mean, picking on it, they don't really touch on that. Why his eyes do
Why
that.
his eyes
later
do
on.
that? Nope,
Yeah.
they don't.
He's got robo eyes, maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that watching this last
I
time.
love the design of the Earth spaceships, though.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
they,
cool.
they
Spaceships.
they feel very X-wing as far as how they move. Like they're big and lumbering as far as how they kind of rotate.
But I like that the cockpit is like gyro stabilized.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
such a cool idea for a spaceship, actually. They're painted on the back like old World War II fighters, so linking back to your X-Wing thing there, Max, that makes sense.
Yeah. And the Separatist fighters look a little bit... Well, the Separatist pilots look a little bit like Borg.
Yeah.
No. The sedition pilots.
Yeah.
The Earth sedition pilots, because nothing makes you the bad guy is naming yourself the bad guys.
I wonder in situations like this movie when the decision is made to be like, okay, guys, we're going to lean mostly on CG over practical effects.
When it's cheaper.
Yeah,
And
I get it.
Like we talked about in Small Soldiers.
Right.
this is about the time when it becomes cheaper to do CG.
It just doesn't look good in most spots. And this actor, I forget his name, but Morgan from Walking Dead.
Oh.
For those of you following that show that's been in the toilet for about 3 seasons.
There are also the actor that surprises us later on with the plot twist is a big-time actor, too.
Yeah.
He plays Dawes in The Expanse. He has a big role in Fringe. So,
and for any of you who played Destiny, this actor who plays Morgan is also the voice of Lord Shaxx.
Oh, that's where I know that voice from. Oh, okay.
Maybe they're. I just maybe thought about it. The contact lenses let them see their heads-up display on their glass spheres.
It's something, super cool that they show you here, but it's literally never talked about past this opening sequence.
Yeah, it's fine.
The only thing that I thought was weird about not mentioning it is whether or not they're contact lenses or he actually has like robotic
bionic
eyes.
implants.
Yeah,
you know?
I think if they ever saw him come up again, then it would maybe be like, oh, he has robo eyes, but we never see it past this scene.
So contact lenses might be the assumption there.
But here we see Matt LeBlanc, most commonly known as Joey from Friends. This was, filmed like in the heyday of Friends. So Matt LeBlanc was flying back and forth multiple times, like filming this and then filming the TV series.
That transition there didn't look terrible. Actually,
Yeah.
The close up of those ships are great.
I actually really like this title crawl.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of get your guys' opinion on Matt LeBlanc specifically. So Friends was a very popular show. I watched it as it aired a lot when I was growing up. I actually rewatched it about a year ago, most of the entire series, and it still holds up, a lot of it. But most of the main characters in that show have had movie careers of varying success, right? So we have David Schwimmer, Matthew Perry, who is Lisa Kudrow, and I can't remember Monica's actress's name. I'll check it.
That's like the biggest one, too.
I know, right. Well, and then there's obviously Jennifer Aniston is the biggest one. Clearly.
Yeah.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah, Courtney Cox. That's right.
Yeah.
That's actually, this scene is funny.
Yeah. So fun. This movie is filled with references and cameos of the original 1960s series.
Okay.
The principal being the first of them.
All right.
So, the two of the original actors who are the only person who reprises their role is the voice of the robot by one. I'm looking up the name here. Dick Tufeld.
Okay.
And the two actors who are most on board for this being like a remake, Bill Mumy, who played young Will Robinson, and Jonathan Harris, who played Dr. Smith, aren't in the movie. Mumy wanted to play the older Will Robinson, but apparently people thought, like, oh, that would be too confusing. They gave Jonathan Harris the option of being like the separatist or the seditionist like contact guy.
Yeah.
But he said, and I quote, "I will have you know I have never done a walk-on or bit part in my life, and I do not intend to start." So he was like, "I will play Smith or I will not be in this."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. But he did return for as Dr. Smith in 1 hour TV special Lost in Space Forever. That came out this year. So here we have William Hurt looking at his most daddish.
Yeah.
He's a good actor. And again, I don't know if it's just the way he was written, but he's a part of the large group of characters in this movie who are just completely flat, and there's just nothing to them.
A lot of
I feel like
space
they
to get
don't
lost
know-
in out there.
Yeah.
That's one of the Robinson children there. I can't remember which one of them. I think it's Penny's old actor.
Okay.
And that is the original actor of the Major.
Oh, cool.
Well, okay.
So
That's fun.
yeah, there's a nice little touches of the original one without being too beholden.
Yeah, I remember the advertising for this movie being huge.
Yeah, it was pushed really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Penny here is way ahead of her sense in fashion style, because that is currently the fashion of what we would be wearing, right? Or what we wear. So
Her
for once, a movie about the future actually got it right.
Yeah.
Well, not only her fashion style, but her use of social
Video
media.
blogging.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
It seems like it's supposed to be like private and personal, but that very much is like
Right.
vlogging she's doing.
Yep.
So, but I actually saw this movie in theaters with my dad because he was a big fan of the original show. So he was like, "Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's the same guy who did the robot." And, kind of filled me in on it and whatnot. And part of me was like, "We should have my dad on for this," but I'm like, my dad doesn't talk a lot. He's really just sitting here being like, "What am I doing here on a Saturday afternoon?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd just basically be another avenue to get rid of beer.
Yeah.
Actually, I think this is another instance, James. Did we see this together?
I think we did.
Odds are high.
Yeah.
Oh wow, Nazca Valley of the Wind, little poster there in the background.
So if I know my science correctly, this is actually not what happens to your body if you go into space. You mostly just freeze.
Yes.
Well, I mean, yeah, you still do expand because there's no pressure on the outside holding your body together. So there's
Yeah.
on Earth, there's a pressure equalization between your innards, and your
Right.
guts and
But
everything.
you
versus
you will
the atmosphere.
freeze first.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to do both of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a good time.
There's an episode of The Simpsons, like on the Halloween one, where Homer and Bart get launched into space and expand and explode.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't happen. I know that.
Yeah. Like balloons.
The guys from The Expanse, the writers, the James S.A. Corey, which is actually a group of 2 people, had a large scientific expose on what actually happens when you put people into space, because that is a thing that happens a lot on that show. And they kept getting you'll explode, and they were just like, okay, hold on, let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Him being a general is fun. Now that I know who that is, then
Yeah.
making him a general is a fun idea.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Reminder: be a dad for once.
Yeah.
I find myself disliking this character greatly.
Yeah.
Through pretty much the entire movie.
So Max,
Yes.
as someone who's the more well-versed person on comics for us,
Okay.
there's a lot of parallels from a family structure between the Lost in Space family and the Fantastic
I
Four
was just going to say that.
family.
Yes. Particularly if you take into account the Reed Richards children.
Yes.
Okay,
So
yeah.
was Reed Richards having kids post Lost in Space, or was it
probably because the Fantastic Four came out early 60s.
Okay.
This was 65 to 68.
Okay.
So
So the kids would
the
have
kids
come later.
were, because the kids are still very much kids.
So this could have the original TV show could have theoretically influenced this.
Maybe.
Right? I didn't watch the original TV show though, so I don't know how.
No, I
heavily
haven't either. I mean,
the, like,
it was one of
absent-minded
those. Okay, so there's shows like, should be channels like TV Land, or some of the local public stations do like old sitcoms where they put on like. This was one I never saw on.
No, I didn't.
I think
either.
it was just in the last like 5 or 6 years I was flipping, and there was like it was on the listing. I'm like, oh wow, Lost in Space. I didn't
Okay.
watch any of it, but yeah, it was never one that got re-aired like Gilligan's Island or Addams Family or Adam West Batman.
Okay.
So
yeah. The global sedition again. That's such a bad name.
yeah,
Putting sedition in your name is literally being like. There's a video game Ryan and I both like called. It's not Blaze Blue. It's the other one, Ryan. Guilty Gear.
Guilty Gear, yeah.
Where there's a
Soul
character
Bad Guy?
named Soul Bad Guy. Like global sedition is the equivalent, is the terrorist equivalent to that. Anyway, going on this, they're talking about how the Earth is dying,
yes,
and apparently there's some massive conspiracy to convince the entire world that that's
it's not?
happening.
Yeah.
Which is, of all the things in this movie, that is the most unrealistic.
yeah.
Because you're going to want all the minds
This-
you can gather to work on
Yeah,
solutions.
so this is the first time I can remember hearing about the ozone layer, like degrading.
Oh, that might
Like I
just
remember
be,
that was a big thing in the '90s. People
That-
were talking about that. And
yeah, that
so
might just be your age. Because
I probably heard a little bit about like the ozone. Like I knew what the ozone layer was,
yeah,
and I understood like 40% ozone layer, very very bad thing. No one talks about that anymore.
yeah, because it's growing back. The ozone layer is
because
actually
changes
recovering.
have been made.
Yeah, changes have been made, and they're actually doing what they did. And I say it's your age because, like, I remember watching videos as a pretty young elementary school kid and seeing that kind of stuff. For me, those were all when I was in Hawaii, so I know that was much earlier than when this movie came out.
Yeah.
The earliest one being that we were watching something, and it was like a kid being like, "Yeah, I sure wish you guys would have, taking care of the earth before I came around because I'm about to go play baseball. And he put on like a hazmat suit so he could go outside, and the door opened, and it was just like super bright light coming in.
I thought I saw Jennifer Lopez on a horse in the background.
Hey, the one good actor in this movie is
Gary
Gary.
Oldman.
He outacts
Everyone.
everyone.
Yeah.
Well, Gary Oldman is unequivocally one of the best actors of our time. Like, he's just amazing.
This guy looks like mini Gary Oldman.
Just
Gary
some
Oldboy.
cells he glue into a clone. Oh, mini discs.
Yeah,
Back
right?
when people didn't think thumb drives would ever be a thing. Just makes disk drives, but smaller.
Right. So I, kind of off topic for us, but I saw a micro SD card or something that was like 300 gig or something absurd lately.
Jeez.
That's obnoxious. Science, man.
Yeah.
I still remember playing games on the Apple II in elementary school with floppy disks that were actually floppy.
Oh, yeah.
The
Wiggly.
big floppies?
The
Yeah.
big floppies. What were those? Were those 8 megabit?
Something like that.
I don't
Like-
know. Because the floppy disks that we all came to know,
Yeah.
like
The hard one.
the hard disks, those
Yeah.
are 1.44 megabytes.
Okay.
I honestly don't know the storage capabilities of
Of the
the
big
actually
The
floppy
actual
ones.
floppy ones? Yeah.
So let's talk about Matt LeBlanc. Max, you had mentioned that he was pulling double duty between shooting this movie and Friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel he throughout most of the movie is just kind of less stupid Joey. Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of his
Yeah.
character.
He plays a good, like, I'm the army meathead guy, but like he's capable.
Right.
Like he proves himself as like, I can be a pilot, I can be a soldier.
I agree, but I'm a little disappointed, and I don't know if it's his choice or the directing choice because of the popularity of Friends.
Mm-hmm.
He still feels like, with his mannerisms and idiosyncrasies, he feels like Joey. Like, this doesn't feel a whole lot different than his character on Friends.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily do a poor job, I don't think, but I'm wondering where that came from. Just because he's
It's probably what he was known for. Like, even I didn't watch Friends growing up, but I knew this guy wasn't Friends.
right.
And here we have Heather Graham as the secret other daughter of
Yeah.
Dr. Robinson.
And you know what? Actually, Heather Graham, in my opinion, is second in line for best acting in this movie. To be honest, William Hurt is just like totally wooden the entire time.
The kids are really bad. Not to pick on children, but the kids are really bad.
Their acting is bad, but they're a lot more well written. I think there's a lot more character development between the kids than most of the adults.
Yeah.
Yep. And
The kids all have like interesting.
I think
storylines.
part of it is the two kids together are pretty wooden, but when they're actually with adults, they feel better.
Yeah. Yeah. Just make a little time machine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So none of the
Eat your hearts out, Spencer's Gifts.
Yeah, right.
So we can roll in. Well, we can roll in some Friends talk on this. I don't think that's that big of
Well,
a deal.
before we do that, what are we drinking today?
We are
The other
drinking-
half of this podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
We're drinking something that I did not expect to be as delicious as it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's from Shipyard Brewing, which Max looked up is actually out of Maine,
Portland, Maine.
but luckily for us is brewed by Brew Detroit here in Detroit.
Yeah.
Contract brewer.
It is called Fireberry.
Fireberry Tiesta Tea, I suppose, is the full name of it.
Yeah, it is a let's see,
It is a wheat ale.
a wheat ale with a whole bunch of things in it because I don't have the hold on, the box is near me.
Boxes. It's arm's length left
There it
side
is.
table.
Reach, James.
Live, play-by-play.
Use your Mr. Fantastic arms.
Yeah. Okay. It is an ale infused with yerba mate and herbal tea, which includes the following flavors. They are very specific here:
Deep breath.
hibiscus, elderberries, currants, rooibos, sweet blackberry leaves, candied cranberries, and rosehip. And they are very, 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 very apt to say that there are 0 grams sugar. So I'm actually really surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because it is a relatively sweet beer.
It is, yes.
It smells incredible, and it tastes great.
So so this isn't.
I think it's the hibiscus which might be giving that aroma.
Yeah.
It's not a dig against the beer. The smell is absolutely orgasmic. The taste doesn't match that sort of just like punch you
Floral.
in the face. Yeah, character, but it tastes great. Like it tastes great.
The smell is fruitier
Right.
than the beer, and
Right.
the beer is tea-ier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Than
From
the
the
smell.
smell, I was expecting this beer to be much sweeter than it actually
Agreed.
is, and the tea is very, very prominent in this. Which as we were discussing this before the recording, that tea and beer is becoming much more of a thing, for lack of a better term, much
Also,
more of a trend.
Yeah, for those of you watching at home, we're watching the Jupiter 2 get its latest shipment of plot devices.
Ah,
Yes.
a metric ton of them. So, because aside from this Fireberry, Shorts Brewing out of Michigan, as we've had them many times on the show, they put out a beer for Valentine's Day called Hot Loins.
Which is a great name.
Which
Great,
is amazing.
great name.
Yeah.
The label looks like John DeHart's on it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is another
That's an
tea-infused
excellent
beer
yeah.
with goji berries and a whole bunch of other kind of things.
Yeah, we had that. Actually, you let us try that at your place. When
Yes,
we were,
we were
over.
playing Delta Green.
And that was an
Yep.
excellent beer.
It was super good.
Yeah.
So here we go. We see the conniving doctor be conniving,
Yeah.
Yep.
and some nice 1990s computer interface there with
Mhm.
just useless geometric shapes.
Yep.
Dr. Knivestein, PhD.
Yeah.
Overall, the sci-fi element design feels very 90s, and as far as like how the chairs are molded, how like the console on the actual Jupiter 2 is shaped when when Matt LeBlanc like extends like to take controls,
Yeah.
even like how the shape of the robot, it feels
Robot.
very 90s.
All the nice like the rounded
There's
corners.
rounded. There's no hard edges.
No.
Even the design of the Jupiter 2,
Yeah. The Jupiter
which I would
2,
say is a unremarkable ship design.
it is not only is it unremarkable, it is cavernous.
It is.
Let's remember that there are a total of 6 people on this ship.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you
or no,
figure-
hold on. There's supposed to be a total of 6 people on this
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah.
There are actually 7.
7 and a robot.
Yeah, and even with the 7th person, they all still have space to literally do laps and probably never see each
It
other.
is, yeah.
Yeah.
And just, I'm sure I'm going to repeat myself for the next 2 hours on this topic, but Gary Oldman just perfectly in every scene, acting
And-
everything perfectly.
And unable to throw a radio.
Yes.
Yeah,
Here's where the CGI gets bad.
yeah, it's not great.
I do like the design of the suits, though.
The idea that you have to wear a cryo suit to be safe and cryogenic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although you don't apparently have to wear a mask.
Yeah, or helmet. Well, I mean, it sort of does the little thing over their faces once they actually get into the pods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I your point is valid. They should be completely encased in something, right? You would assume.
It's the future.
They
Oh,
could
future.
have laid a a nice computerized fabric over their face.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
It has an image of a circuit board.
Yep.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Oof.
that movie has a director's commentary, and even tells some things like, okay, where are we in the plot? I got too caught up watching the visuals.
Yeah, I'm still gonna get that on Blu-ray for sure.
So the design we see here for the outer casing, that's the design of the original Jupiter ship from the show.
Okay.
Or very, very strong.
Also unremarkable.
Yes.
I believe it unremarkable and also aerodynamically poor. Like if you're going up
Yeah.
as rockets
It is the
do,
opposite of...
this is a very bad design.
Yeah. Didn't remember. I mean, which makes sense because I hadn't seen this in a long time. But, it still surprises me that this launches from Earth as opposed to launches from the giant space station that they're making, or not,
Yeah.
or Ring.
I guess that kind of makes sense as far as like a logistical resourcing kind
Yeah.
of thing, right? For all the materials to build it, it's
But they're
You're
building
gonna
a
be
giant.
stocking
with-
They're building a
stocking with 10
giant ring in
years of-
space, also.
The sedition. They don't want the sedition to attack their
Yeah.
spaceport.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. So, just from your point, Ryan, like if you build something in space, you just don't have to worry about aerodynamics or anything anymore. Right?
fair.
That's
Yeah,
true.
that's true. Yeah. I'm trying to think if this was pre or post Austin Powers
It's
2.
pre.
Okay.
Austin Powers 2 is 99.
I mean,
Right.
LeBlanc has everything that you would expect out of a movie star. He's got the looks for it. He's got the voice for it.
The chin for it.
He just does it still is surprising me that he doesn't get it put together, and I don't know if it's just because he had so many bad movies right off the start. He was never able to get going.
Maybe.
I don't remember him in anything other than this.
Most of the actors in this movie, or say all the actors besides Gary Oldman, didn't have much of a career past the mid-aughts that I can think of.
His IMDb, his being Matt LeBlanc, is surprisingly sparse.
Yeah. So here we see the first of this movie's fetish with retractable metallic things.
Yep. There's the face things you're talking about, Ryan.
Oh, no,
Which look really rough.
bad.
Yep. This movie has some very Batman Forever-esque lighting and a very hairy-chested mission control operator.
Who's really sweaty.
Yep.
He's not he's wooden at times in this, but he's not horrific.
His woodenness that we see here is expected because he doesn't want to go on this mission.
He's essentially participating under duress.
Yep.
And
Not a bad shot.
Yeah.
Bad shot.
That's a
bad shot.
that is a bad shot from the CGI, but I like the shot below where it's just city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it just keeps going. If you've noticed, there's been no green except for in the dome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was cool. I mean, I like.
It's
I like
it's a
that
nice little
design.
breakaway effect.
Yeah.
You guys may or may not have noticed on your, research watching before the recording, but the movie has some pretty startling changes in film grain at times, particularly when we get introduced to like blarp later on.
Yes.
It's
okay. So
really bad.
So fun story about this movie as well. Continued fun stories. So we got our first DVD player 1999-ish. When we got the first DVD player, it came with 5 movies. Lost in Space, 6 Days, 7 Nights, Lethal Weapon 4,
Oh God.
Stepmom, and I think that was it. Maybe so these 4 movies. So this is the first movie I can ever recall seeing on DVD.
Okay.
So I have a very distinct memory of like after I finished watching it being like, wait, how do I rewind this?
Okay.
Because I was like 8 or 9, and it just blowing my mind that I didn't have to rewind the movie after I was done watching it.
I don't have to do anything. I remember being super stoked with DVDs because you couldn't wear them out, right?
Yeah.
Like you could with a VHS.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm surprised my VHS copies of all the Batman movies have held up.
I think this movie does a very poor job with stars overall. Like when they're in the background, they all appear to be almost the exact same brightness,
Yeah, that's not
which
important.
bothers me. I don't know.
Don't get all Neil deGrasse Tyson on
I
us.
was going
on
to
this
say
movie.
something to that effect. Yeah.
What happened to that guy?
Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What happened?
He
to
got
him?
an ego?
He on Twitter, he's just
The fun killer.
sad and mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that assessment. I've followed him for a while, but I mean,
No, he's become very...
he's very matter of fact about a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I went and saw him live in Detroit a year or 2 ago, and it was a great time for about 2.5 hours. Just him giving a presentation.
I'm really glad to hear that because I know even down to him doing Cosmos, it was like, okay, here's a guy who can really reach out to people
Youth
who
about-
have
yeah.
youth and everything, and I mean the difference there was that Katie and I watched one of the episodes of the original Cosmos, and Sagan is just so he weaves a picture.
Mm-hmm.
He wants you to be excited about these things, and on Cosmos, the new Cosmos, deGrasse Tyson follows that. He's very cool on that.
Yeah.
But on
Agreed.
on Twitter, he's just strange.
The way it comes off is very like, I am smarter than you, deal with it.
Yeah.
New Year's has no meaning. It's very just like disdainful. I don't know.
I guess I don't. I guess I don't share that reaction with you
Like
guys.
I have no personal beef with him, but I can see why some people do.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah. Anyway, back to the
Why
movie.
would that be a button?
Right. Why do you have to punch through that?
Yeah. This robot is awful looking, by the way.
I remember it looking a lot cooler, but I haven't watched this movie since like 1999.
And that's not an awful looking from me complaining that the practical effects are bad, because the practical effects hold up.
Yeah,
here. They're
yeah.
fine.
This looks.
I just hate the way it looks.
So
It's the 90s design.
then,
Yeah.
Right? Also, let's talk about Penny. Does it feel like she's dubbed almost the entire movie to anyone else? I feel like her voice has been recorded after the fact.
ADR?
ADR,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know.
Analog dialogue replacement.
I think it's just slow motion.
Here comes
Joe.
Joey!
Will Robinson is the latest of annoying children on Good Brews Bad Views movies.
Yeah.
He and Jake Lloyd are right up there because they're about the same age for this.
I'm just glad that the movie phone voice guy got to go into space.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking movie phone. Holy hell, way to date us.
Slow motion fallback.
Yeah. That's the movie phone voice. It has to be. It sounds exactly like it.
But I feel like Penny's vocal style, at least from a character perspective, like isn't that style of like tone or voice isn't used in movies anymore because it is very annoying.
Man, you guys, Johnny Five has been through some rough years.
Yeah.
He's useful.
God, I want to punch that kid.
Did that kid grow up to do anything else? Because his face looks familiar.
I'll do some digging.
Boop, 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 boop,
Things I
boop,
should have
boop,
looked
boop,
up
boop,
prior
boop,
to watching
boop,
this.
boop, boop, boop. We're only human.
Yeah.
Jack
Isn't it?
Johnson.
Jack Johnson. Yeah. What else have you done?
So here we have
nothing.
them.
He has done nothing.
Yeah.
He's done nothing? Okay. Here we have them pressing buttons on
All these
string.
panels look vaguely like very, very sparse in comparison to what you would see in like a modern ship console design. In some reason, the chairs go very high,
Yeah.
very
Go to
high
the
chairs.
Well, I think what a lot of this is the 90s. It's a computer screen. The idea that all these screens have to be separate, right?
Mhm.
Each one of these is running something or doing something separately, as opposed to in a very few short years you'll have Minority Report come out not too far from this.
Yeah, Minority Report. That's early aughts, right?
Yeah, and that comes out. I remember that was one of the first things that really captured where technology was going. That did a great job of actually because he brings up that screen in front of him with all the different
everything he needs.
the UI.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's one thing, and he's moving them around to what he needs them to be.
Right.
And this doesn't capture that idea at all. Everything is a separate screen.
Yeah.
Maureen stuck in Judy stuck in the pod. This reminds me of Spinal Tap. Dun dun dun.
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Heroes.
That was good for a while.
The first season was really good
Mm-hmm.
until the last episode, and then it was like, hey, remember all those comic book tropes that we were doing a great job of avoiding or subverting?
Mm-hmm. Nope.
We fell into every one.
Well, I mean, that show kept going even through the writer's strike, and I can't
That's
help
what-
but feel
that's-
like
that's what killed that show.
That's what
you know,
killed the show.
scuttled it.
because they kept doing the season. Yeah, season 2 was during the writer's strike, and they
Yeah.
wrapped up season 2 as opposed to postpone it. So, the sun. This just makes me want to play Destiny 2 when it was good.
Also, I think it's fair to say that none of the crew is a vampire at this point.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Very good.
Gary Oldman. What a badass.
Yeah. So this is this is a sci-fi trope that hits when you go to the sun, that everything becomes super bright like this, as opposed to just being like, well, we can't open the windows.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Also, we don't have windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is why
Everyone is blind.
Yeah.
This is why there's screens like in Star Trek.
Yes.
On screen.
There.
Space Gurney.
But
I'm a huge so a lot of this watching this show was interesting because I'm a huge Expanse fan. I love the Expanse. I think it is either
you literally haven't stopped talking about it since
it
you
came
on.
Yeah. In my opinion, it is either the best or the top 3 shows on television. It is an astonishingly good show. And watching this with the spaceship design and all the weird stuff that they do was really, really interesting seeing two completely different takes on it, right? This was just like the rule of cool in a lot of ways. The Expanse tries to do some rule of cool stuff, but the writers and even the TV show do allow them a little bit of rule of cool, but they still really capture a lot of the feeling and effort of just being like, okay, this is a tin can in space, right?
Yeah.
It only needs to do what's necessary. This is so stupid.
Not as interesting as the paddles.
No.
There's no way this ship survives this close to the sun.
Yeah.
It's got shielding.
Well, if the computer fries out, the hull would have melted by that point.
And as would his skin.
Yes. But this is the rule of 90s cool, which doesn't really work anymore.
Yeah.
This scene also doesn't make any sense until you see what happens in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Because you're like, all right, why is this guy so wimpy? Why can't he actually get her heart going? And then, spoiler alert, they're going to be like, oh, the cryosuits have to literally be sawed off of your body.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense once this happens.
I just thought she was like super almost dead.
Yeah.
There's that.
Good job applying logic to this illogical movie.
Yeah. That looks awful, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, but this set is huge. Like when Matt LeBlanc first came onto the set, it's like, welcome to the big set.
Yeah.
Major West.
Again, there's
throw me another one of those.
There's 7 people on this ship. Why is there so much space?
Because they need to survive for like 10 years
Because then they got to get lost in it.
But they don't have to survive for 10 years on it. They go to
sleep for 10 years. So it's got to have the systems and such and blah, 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 blah.
Theoretically, this ship should be, for all intents and purposes, this ship should be a sleeping pod area and a cockpit. And then everything else should just be a giant giant cargo hold.
Yep.
All right, we're going to beer pouring mode here.
Yep.
Yeah, this beer is super nice.
Very drinkable.
Yeah.
Less than 5% ABV.
I'm definitely going to keep...
Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. This is bad CG. There's no reason these couldn't have been pistons. Practical pistons.
Yeah.
From the tiny bit that I've screwed around with dealing with computer graphics in Blender, I'm like, okay, I could do this given just a couple of days. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's 20 years old though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 20 years old. I like this effect that's about to come up.
Yes.
I think
will
this
say
is a really cool effect for like hyperspace or whatever.
Yeah,
This.
I like this. I like
really
this.
focus on their faces though, especially when it cuts to that. Look now on the table. Look on the table.
Oh no.
Oh.
The idea of an effect though is really cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I can see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, the concept is super cool, but it looks really bad.
Technological limitations.
So okay, Ryan, to your point here, right? This looks
That looks sweet, actually.
but the background looks terrible.
Yeah, the stars look
However,
awful.
Is that the original background from Lost in Space?
I don't know. I don't think it was. I'm not sure. I don't. Yeah, the show was in color.
I given what you've been
At
saying,
least
Max,
some of it.
I wouldn't put it past them to have used that on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
To have made space look like old 60s space.
60s
with, like,
space, yeah.
blue and black and all the little stars all over it.
I think we'll get a few more shots before the movie's out, though. When it's clear that they're not going for the nostalgic angle, and it's like, hey, this is totally space right now, and it's just like, okay, it's a whole bunch of white dots that all look the same.
Yeah. Everyone in this movie is very sweaty.
Yeah, it's a very sweaty existence.
Yeah.
I do like Smith's outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's good sci-fi fashion.
outside of morality, why do they keep him alive?
It's purely for morality. Because he even says like you can't do it.
Yeah.
by all means, by all purposes, just be like, into the airlock. Out you go.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he should just be like, hey, Major, why don't you
Yeah, just deal with this.
deal with this for me?
I don't care how, just...
Yeah.
I don't need to know. Pour another beer.
I hit it so hard.
Hermetic
it
door
sparks.
closed, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's effectively killed this guy and the entire human race.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a lot riding on
No,
this.
because apparently there already are people there. There already are people at Alpha Prime. And he's just going there to help with the construction of the gate, question mark?
That's right. Yep, you're correct. God, that looks rough.
Yep.
It's not the
It's
worst
not
thing
bad,
in the
though.
movie.
It looks suitably sci-fi.
The idea of it's cool, though. I like the idea of it.
Yeah, it's trying to identify a known constellation.
Yeah.
This just makes me want to go home and play more Stellaris, which I've already done for like 3 hours today while I was cooking corned beef and cabbage.
Space goth.
Yep. No, she's the actress who plays Penny's like 16 when this came out, so
She looks way younger than that.
She clearly was a late bloomer because she looks at some awkward developmental stage biologically.
yeah.
Yeah. Here's the this scene, I like this actually a lot. It's a cool practical effect.
Yep.
The idea that you have to actually wear these things to stay alive is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Now it's when they just cut away. Now it's just like a wetsuit,
yeah,
or a bat suit.
And I mean, even there, the shot that he took grafted the suit onto him, so she had to rip it off. Like I think of all the weird stuff that they do in this movie, I think that's actually one of the neater ideas.
Mm-hmm. Wait, no, it was the tattoo scar he had.
Oh,
Yeah, ex-girlfriend.
okay. I thought that they talk about how the electrical shock, the suit absorbed most of the electrical shock. And when she pulls it off.
I think that's why his clothes are all burnt up.
Oh,
but
okay.
the scar on his back is from a tattoo.
Okay.
he said.
Because you actually hear like a pulling sound when she pulls the suit off
Yeah.
of him too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like had Matt LeBlanc's role in this movie been markedly different, just completely from being Joey on Friends, then maybe we would have seen him in more mainstream Hollywood stuff. I don't know.
I mean, I think his role is suitable for what this movie does. They needed someone a little bit more upbeat, and I think he shines when during the upcoming action scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last ditch or the last stand at the door.
Yeah.
When we get to
He
that,
looks
we'll get to
really
that.
good.
Yeah.
Here's the scene I'm talking about. These two just don't. There's like no chemistry between these two kids.
Well, I mean, think about. I'm thinking back to when I was Penny's age and my sister was, 12-ish. Like, we didn't, talk at all. Those are when we were like at each other's throats.
yeah,
So
but I mean, from an acting standpoint, they just don't mix well together. They both come off as really wooden when they're with each other.
yeah. I think it might be easier for kids to act with adults, primarily from like, you're a kid. You know how to like try to sweeten up your parents to get you to do something them to do something for you. So.
That's fair. I'm pointing it out because I think they do a good job, especially later on with the
Just hanging out with a multimeter with no leads attached.
yeah.
Yep.
Some scientist you are.
The
Space multimeter.
yeah. Will does a really good job when he's hanging out with the doctor. I think that acting scene isn't terrible.
Oh, with Gary Oldman?
With Gary Oldman, that
Yeah.
works well. And
Unfortunately, Gary Oldman's like, I could not give him any of my talent.
yeah.
He was doomed to be in like 3 more things after this, none of which are worth mentioning.
But together they just don't come together all that well.
Oof. That's not great.
Yarp.
If I didn't know any better, I thought I'd be hallucinating right now.
William Hurt has 1.5 facial expressions throughout this entire movie.
He has the same facial expressions in Dune.
And why does Heather Graham have to stand like that at the console?
Yeah.
I rewound it just to double check that I wasn't crazy, but she's just like, hey, check out my ass.
yeah.
Oh, it was a weird time thing they went through. Spoilers. There's a weird time thing in this movie.
Right.
Okay, so when we get to that, I'll talk about that. But at the end, the plot of this movie isn't the problem of this movie.
Yeah, it's not.
No.
I like this ship design. I think this
It's
is
interesting.
Super cool ship design. I think it harkens back more to 1970s
Yes.
style ship design.
Yep. Looking at you, Charles Foss.
If more ships look like this, I'd
That's
be
funny.
down with it.
Yes,
Knowing now what those features are, those little bumps, almost barnacle looking.
Yep.
Yeah. How? Why would you know that she's one of yours? That doesn't look like anything
Because
we've
it's in
seen.
English.
That's fair.
I like the big greenhouse chamber there.
Yeah, it's such a cool design for a ship.
Mhm.
Feels kind of Dead Spacey.
Yeah, or Event Horizon-y,
Mm-hmm.
which is a way better movie than this.
Yeah, let's watch that after this.
Sure.
Yeah, I like Event Horizon.
Yeah, hell yeah. Weirdly, just side noting for Event Horizon, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, who did the entire Resident Evil series and the first Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh boy.
Bam, 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 bam. Zombie. Dun, 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 dun. Liquor. Dun, dun, dun,
So-
dun. Nemesis. Dun, 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 dun. Alice. Dun, 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 zombie.
One of the things that made me laugh just knowing what we're going through right now with the change to electric cars is the idea that corporations would have agreed on a standard set of docking codes. Because they can't even agree on a standard electrical charger right now.
No.
I guess that may potentially wind up being,
At some point it'll be
mandated
dull.
by the government.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
I'd hope so, but
Well, that's
I mean,
the
that's
thing.
where
That's
those
the thing
magic-
you have to go with sci-fi, especially when you move past interplanetary politics. Is for movies like this, you assume that humanity as a race has pretty much dissolved.
Space Force!
Has humanity
You
as
fucking
a
idiot.
it's like the Air Force.
yeah, but in space.
But in space.
They
Just
pretty
in
much
case
dissolved.
none of the rest of you were following what he was saying.
Yeah.
You were too stupid to figure that out. I like this scene actually a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So humanity's pretty much has settled its disputes, been able to group its resources for a larger goal beyond the beyond national borders, or whatever.
Yeah.
So basically, like Tucker Jones is like worst night. Tucker Carlson's like worst nightmare, or whatever. And
Tucker
that's
Jones, did you make a super conservative nut
Yeah.
job with
Yeah.
Alex Jones and
Yes.
Tucker Carlson?
yes, I did.
Fucking abomination.
Yep. Yep.
I
But-
like
but-
the idea
but-
that the doctor just went
Threw a tantrum.
Yeah. Just
break everything.
Rubs his shit on the window. That's what it looks like he did.
Yeah.
But and that's always kind of been not really one of my problems with sci-fi, but I'm about to sneeze, so I'm just gonna hold on to it for a second.
Do it.
Um,
Get right in the microphone.
okay, so so whenever we go to like, especially Star Wars is guilty of doing this. Whenever we go to a planet, we focus on like 5 square miles of a planet, but never like what is going on the opposite side of Tatooine or whatever. Like I always think about like it for being interplanetary, the events that happens on the planet surfaces are all very localized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and just to hit on the Star Wars thing, I mean, a lot of sci-fi falls into the like, this is the desert planet, and this is the snow planet, and this
Yeah.
is the the
Right.
foresty planet.
It's not usually how planets work. I mean,
No.
I don't know.
you don't know, they could be.
So, I mean, there's that. The only thing I'll say about Star Wars is that Star Wars has been very, very. This is a fun joke right here.
Yeah.
Not cool, kid.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
With Star Wars, the movies at least, we're following the heroes, right? We're following the localized events of what those heroes are doing. So I'm willing to kind of deal with it that way.
Yeah.
Where I don't like it more is when you hit other sci-fi shows that are like big planet spanning events, and you're following a big cast of characters who all just happen to be at the same place all the time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And-
I like how little Will Robinson went just through the process of how he made the robot his slave.
Yes. Yeah. Which, now that I'm watching Westworld, is a very dark idea.
Oh, have you not watched it yet?
No.
Oh.
I'm not. So.
I have not seen it either.
Oh, it is good. I recently just watched
Space
the original
dick.
movie.
I just realized as an AT&T customer, I get HBO Go.
Oh,
Nice.
So I'm now watching all the HBO shows that I had not had access
Cool,
to
cool,
before. Going back and rewatching Rome, which is also a lot of fun. Bad robot design. This,
Nice POV.
I like the POV though. That's cool. Is this practical?
I
I
don't know.
I don't think so.
That wasn't.
That for sure wasn't.
I like the method of how the hood's deployed, but
Right.
The robot vision holds up really well.
yes,
Yeah, it doesn't
a
look
lot
bad.
a lot of like the CGI overlay stuff, like when Heather Graham was on the table and there was like the biometric.
The anatomical hologram.
That looked fine.
Yeah. Gonna have
Here
Keanu
we have more
Reeves
Batman lighting.
reach into her chest and start her heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
And pull the lung cancer out.
Right.
Which is a cool end. Spoiler alert. He looks really menacing right there.
Who, Matt LeBlanc?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's typical underlighting.
So
Everyone looks menacing.
let's talk rolling back to his career, which I think we're going to keep probably popping back onto.
Rolling.
Do you think that would have been almost a better thing for him to do, is to completely try to pull himself out of the typecasting of being the hero?
Yeah.
If he would have jumped into a movie and been the doctor in this movie?
Yeah, I think if he
Yeah.
would have done something that was the complete antipody of Joey.
Well, that's the problem of like getting cast for that role. Like, I mean, because it's like the Seinfeld curse.
Right. Until Veep came along.
Until Veep. And Comedians and Coffee. Well, that's not going against
Comedians in cars getting coffee.
Yeah.
Been watching
Someone smashed an entire pallet of gushers on the ceiling.
So
the blue kind.
this,
Those are the best
this bothers
ones.
me because before the airlock opens, they're like, there's no microbiological contamination. And then the first thing they do after walking like 15 steps in, they're like, oh, look, here's some weird alien
Some
stuff.
Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah. like whether or not it's going to, it's actually evil or anything, you think that
They would have
It's
noticed
blue and it's dripping. That's
Yeah.
not natural.
yeah, the
It would've
first
been
thing that would have
scanned.
happened is that would have been like, hey, there's some stuff that isn't human on this ship.
The suits look good. The little
So-
like explorer-y suits they have.
Yeah. Question on that. These guys don't flip out when they find alien life. So are we to assume that humanity at this point, exploring the solar system and having probed
Has seen some
areas,
stuff.
has seen
Yeah,
some stuff?
I think so.
Maybe
That's how I
entirely.
took it.
Maybe just based off of they do some scanning of the
They've scanned
the body
2%.
parts once they get back onto the ship, and they're like, oh, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 yeah,
because they've scanned 2% of the universe. We've learned that.
yeah. It's still a lot.
I mean, there's still a lot to go, but scanning 2% of the universe, it's not them being able to find some type of like, oh, bacteria lives here, or there's weird, very minor things here. That makes sense to me.
Mhm.
That's how
Yeah.
I took it. Not like these guys are so scientific that they were just like, we're going to look at this from a science standpoint. It was like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we've already found extraterrestrial life. It's not we're not outside of the realm of what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
The strange head on the robot bothers me because he's all like 90s design, right? Like
Yeah.
he's super sleek and
Mhm.
nondescript. But if you look at the head, there's like blinking lights and
Yeah, like-
and actual
like
moving
rotors
parts.
Yeah,
and such.
actuators and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's really
What's
strange.
the purpose? I do like the parts later on when we hear in Robot's voice the things that Will is saying.
Yeah. This is a cool deal right here.
Oh, he stumbled upon some System Shock 2 logs.
Yeah.
I love that game.
That actually is going back to the discussion we had last episode.
I'm thinking very hard what the movie was.
Assassin's
Okay,
Creed.
Yes.
That is one of the few games I'm very surprised hasn't been picked up for movie rights yet.
System Shock?
System Shock 2.
Well, they just recently went through a Kickstarter to remake the game.
The
and
first
it's
one.
Got,
The
it's
first
gotten
one
The
being
first
remade,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten held up for I forget why.
So
No, it's in production, but you need to do it right. Probably because the same reason the BioShock got held up.
BioShock is
BioShock
so
is
good.
the spiritual successor of
Yes.
System Shock 2.
Yep.
BioShock is
So,
so
The only
good.
reason that I think BioShock's a harder movie to make than System Shock is that BioShock is way more political than System Shock is.
Yeah, System Shock is, on the contrary, it has a weaker narrative than BioShock.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's easier.
Because you don't even know what your character looks like until the last second of the game.
Right, and I think that's why it's a little maybe easier to adapt, because you can grab the big events from System Shock and kind of build your story from there, right?
Sure,
you have
yeah.
a lot more. You don't have cracks to fill in. You have
There's a lot of
crevices to
space
fill
for
in.
you to breathe.
Yeah,
robot.
But there's enough really going on with that, and
yeah. This whole sequence reminds me of like like you said, like a System Shock or a cheap Event Horizon again.
mm-hmm.
It's not done super well, but I like this scene. The colors are cool here.
yeah, because everything's been
Fairly
black and
monochromatic.
gray
Yeah.
and blue,
Yeah,
so it really pops. And here we have a nice matte painting.
Yeah, we get
Yeah.
some really poor. In this movie, it's clear that it's blue screen versus green screen, which is a transition that was made. I don't remember exactly when in Hollywood, because green screen just performed better versus blue screen, because you can see sometimes on the actors the blue light reflected on their flesh and just like the weird partial effects coming through at sometimes.
Well, this movie has a lot of blue lighting as on its own.
Like on,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
why is this thing in this movie?
they needed something lighthearted and some sort of alien species to interact with and be fun.
But it doesn't. Even there,
It doesn't add anything to it.
No.
It's interesting though. Just
Watching this, I expected it to play a lot bigger role.
so there is a deleted scene on the DVD where when they're walking around in the future, they see Blarp grown up, and it's practical.
Huh.
Oh,
It's like just a bigger, hairier version of Blarp as a practical effect.
Yeah, my biggest
The big
thing with
puppet.
this is like I get it. Like, this is a kids movie.
Yeah,
right?
there was an action
Or
figure of this.
It's a family movie.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. It's not a
So
children's
look on
movie.
Gary Oldman's right cheek.
Yep.
It's blue.
Yep. William Hurt had the same lighting effect
Yep.
earlier in the same scene.
So I completely understand that, and I'm not going to try to get too ridiculous about this, but being a family movie, I just expected Blarp to play a bigger role. I guess
Yeah.
I'm not arguing for it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it doesn't do much.
Yeah.
It's interesting because this movie clearly could have had a sequel. Clearly.
Mm-hmm.
There were like a loose plan of what was going to happen in the movie. They were going to make it to the planet.
Okay.
Someone else had already like settled it because of the time jump and whatnot. And I think Penny gets like color changing properties like Blarp.
Oh, huh.
And those are like the only details that have really been said about it.
Okay.
So just like possible ideas. Oh boy, that's
Yeah,
some bad
that's-
film.
Look at the grain change. That was one
Yeah.
of the shots. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that they did the grain change behind the CGI to mask the edges on it?
It's not. I mean, it's the entire everything in frame. The entire shot.
Right,
has-
but what I mean is, like, even back then, that wouldn't have blended well into the background. So
Mhm.
by making the background, like, they're basically doing the soft focus effect with CGI right
Yes.
there, right? By changing the film grain.
See, here you even have the seed for like, oh, we know more about the solar system now because we have maps from the future.
Yeah.
Ceiling creaking.
I like these creatures that are about to show up. I think
Yes.
they're cool.
Yeah, the design is good, but the effects are bad.
Yeah.
Again, technological limitations.
Sure.
I don't like the sound of that sound.
Which is a terrible line.
Yeah.
They get to some really bad cliche lines here.
Yeah. This movie is too late for puppetry, but too early to do good-looking CG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I agree, but also asterisk. You're never too late for good puppetry.
Too late is in it is too expensive.
Mm.
That is what that translates to. Yeah. Mom says, "Get the hell out of there."
Right. I love that.
The best.
Actually.
Yeah. I love the voice of the robot.
Yeah.
Also, would you like to know the movies that are playing
Right.
tonight?
Press 1 to hear the times, folks.
In Theater 1, we have Death of Stalin, starring Jeffrey Tambor and
Oof.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Spiders in Space. Jordan Ferraro's Nightmare.
Jeez, yeah. 0 G spiders. Although clearly there is at least 1 G in this spaceship.
Yes. It is rotating.
That's
Or the
how you- that's
hydroponics
how you-
place is rotating.
Well, that's
at
how you
least.
generate gravity.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I know that. The hydroponics is. We don't know about the rest of the ship, so
Yep.
This is every young boy's dream.
Yep.
Yeah.
This would be the coolest thing.
oh yeah,
And it looks okay.
Yeah, this looks pretty. That's cool.
I think
that
it's also
holds up.
I think it's also a trailer shot, which
Oh,
was also a
definitely.
very obvious one coming up.
Yeah.
so that's okay. They did not have the robot say "Danger, Will Robinson" in the trailer, right?
I can't recall.
I
But
don't
that's
believe
like
they
that's
did.
like his catchphrase.
It's his catchphrase. I
Yeah.
don't believe they did. I think that was a big deal.
Yeah.
They eat their wounded. That'll come back
A
and be relevant in 70
2
minutes.
hours. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll come back and be relevant in such a long period of time that one of the characters will literally remind you of it.
Yes.
Space docks. Oh.
Oh.
Space fire alarms or space door closers.
Reload. So if you shoot.
All right,
these-
so here's the Joey gets to be heroic moment,
Yeah.
which he doesn't do a bad job
No.
at.
No. He's like I think it's rather good at it. Like I think it would fit well in today's day and age when you have Chris Pratt now as a
Yeah.
like if he would have gone like the Chris Pratt route, which he totally could have. He's proto Chris Pratt. He's a failed version of Chris Pratt.
So we'll notice in the next few shots that the spiders are surprisingly symmetrical in their attack on this door.
Yeah, but I do like this like
This is
assembly
cool.
sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zoom in close.
Yeah.
Load a cannon raid. We have Space
Trailer moment here.
Iron Man.
Yeah.
Yep, that was totally a trailer moment, and
Yep.
it looked good. Like
Yeah.
that
Doesn't
looked
look
like
bad.
that was a good little display of the
Bah.
retracting tech.
I mean, I like the idea. Like, he is a trained soldier.
Yeah.
He's
doing
a major.
well. Yeah.
He's been through an apocalypse now. They made him major for this.
Yeah. Robot attack door. Ah!
Robot win.
Like how he spins.
Oh no, my arm.
Robot has been disarmed.
Literally.
Attaboy, Ryan.
Yeah, but
Do you notice the gun actually is actuating when he's firing it?
that's pretty cool.
It's actually it does move back when it shoots whatever it's shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, the
The recoil.
whatever.
Recoil. Yep.
It's surprisingly symmetrical in that damage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very OCD spiders.
I do like the little split leg they have. How they
Mhm.
only have 3 little limbs
On the
but then
backside?
they have 3 legs, but each leg splits into 2.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's a nice little design. He slimed me.
Run.
Oh, this is bad. It's all bad. Go away.
Oh, that looks rough.
Mm.
Again, I'm not going to pick on the CGI too much.
Yeah.
That I like the look of that, where they're swarming around everywhere like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when they're close to the lens.
Yep.
Robot to the rescue.
Yeah. Cool effect still.
You'll never get tired of robot antics.
It's funny watching this kid do this because it's very much like playing a VR game nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah, the PlayStation VR.
You're like, ah, they're on me.
Playing Resident Evil 7?
Yeah, Resident Evil 7 and also the Until
Until
Dawn
Dawn.
game. Slice.
Spider, no slicing. Spider, no slicing. Spider, no slicing.
You got the leg. Oh, poor robot.
Yeah.
I don't like your design, but I don't want you to die.
Wah, wah, wah. Literally.
The disc. I can't
Cybernetic flux.
I can't help but feel that the discs raising and lowering is just a dude under the table, just like, okay,
whoop.
up and down.
Yeah. Huge set.
90s chairs. Lycra suit.
Monkey. Space monkey.
Space monkey.
The best space monkey is the one that hangs out with the Space Ghost kids.
Space Ghost.
Bleak. Yes.
We tried to get George Lowe to record a radio bumper for us when I was in college.
Really?
Yeah. It did not go successfully.
No.
We got the Homes for Runner guys to do 2 for us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hey, you guys, this is Strong Bad. You're listening to WMTU 91.9 of Houghton. Hoofton. And then we just fade out with him trying to say things.
That's
Torpedoes.
amazing, Max.
Hmm?
I said that's amazing.
Yes.
Those are the most ineffective.
Why do they have
torpedoes.
space fireworks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, bloop. Like how the spiders.
there we go.
The
Okay.
spiders are just like, loop.
All right. So there's a reason for it. I forgot about that.
But still, fireworks?
Ooh,
So-
adamantine.
so
They got Wolverine arms.
Yeah. So right here, they're not flipping out. So my assumption is that they've seen.
Other creatures
Other
and stuff.
creatures.
Yeah.
They know what adamantium is.
Yeah.
It's adamantium. They took an A out of it, so it's different.
No,
It's
it's
interesting-
from Resident Evil 2, so it's adamantium.
Right. Hey. I like that they're like, oh, they'll be through the hull in 15 fucking seconds. And then the next shot, the
All right.
spiders are clearly like not even close to getting through the hull.
Yeah.
I like the little like loop.
Yeah. Ooh, energy.
Energy. Acting. Try it sometime, Hurt.
Yeah. Why is he so sweaty?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else is mildly sweaty, but they're not that sweaty. Ah!
Spiders.
That's trailer shot.
Yeah.
That's really bad, shaky.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just like someone
footage.
just like shaking the chair on the
Ah.
stick.
That CGI really didn't look all that bad.
No. Ooh.
Yes,
Gravity
gravity.
Yeah, so we have like
Gravity harnesses.
the 90th ship like console control.
Yeah, now he
thing
drives it
ever.
like a fucking jet ski.
Yeah. I mean, what I've learned from this movie is they should just go through it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
through the thing. It's not as totally badass as when Laura Dern does it in Last Jedi. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Mm.
With the like samurai style cut to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Ching.
Hey, Scrape. Like every sci-fi movie in the aughts.
Just well, pretty
They
much
stole that from this.
any
I'm sure it stole that. from
dramatic
something else.
landing period in a movie. Oh yeah, that'll slow you down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good now.
All the flaps.
Look at how small they are relative to the rest of the ship.
Yeah.
Ah, ice.
So that looks practical.
Yes.
It is. This is a miniature.
Yeah.
I would bet money.
Yep.
Most of this is a miniature.
Front flip, back flip, 540 nose grab.
McTwist.
Big twist. Yes. From SSX3.
Right.
The game that Ryan and
Baller
I
ass
became
game.
way too good at.
Yeah, those were some
Twas
inhuman
the-
scores.
'Twas the best of times. 'Twas the worst of times.
Yeah. That was a game that Ryan and I would compete against each other at and score.
Yeah, in a game where our final scores were literally in the millions, you and I would end up within like 300 points of each other.
Yeah.
Video mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like that. I'm alive.
Yep.
I don't think whether or not that they are intelligent, children should be in charge of an entire section of the ship.
Yeah.
That's accurate.
Well, they have one robot, so
Yeah.
he's in charge of one robot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it to Penny because she's sick. Like, if she's supposed to be 16 in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
like that's pretty. If she's as
Ooh,
intelligent,
that
like
looks
they're portraying her as super intelligent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like a super intelligent 16-year-old, you're like, all right, she's probably been in college classes, like she knows what she's doing at this.
She's
point,
got 3
right?
years of future space courses.
Yeah, not not
Well, She had 3 years of like prep work. For
not
this,
Judy.
She said. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she did that. Yeah, you're right. So Will though is
Will's
supposed to
making time machines.
Yeah, he's like 8 or 10. Is that
Yeah.
what he's supposed to be? Is around
Yeah,
there.
10.
Like, I don't. Doesn't matter how smart you are. You're 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain maturity requirement,
Yeah.
regardless of other knowledge.
I like how he just ignores him here.
Yep.
Yeah,
The leather jacket is such a weird.
he's the bad boy.
Yeah, I mean that's it.
It's
They're
Space Mad Max.
Yeah, they're clearly trying to capture like the World War II bomber
Yeah.
pilot
Mhm.
deal here, even with the
The
gold
insignia.
wings,
Wings,
the
yeah.
insignia on it. He does manage to look completely different than everybody else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they do
he
a good
does.
job in that. I'll appreciate that. So
I think he plays off the family well.
yeah,
I'll give him that. Like, Matt LeBlanc doesn't do a terrible job in this.
no,
It's
he's
just,
not the worst actor by far.
No.
Yeah, and again, I don't fault LeBlanc for this.
No.
For most of him being too Joey-ish, I think that's just him.
Because when he's here, he's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
he's getting like he's
He
actually
does
going to be a
some good
military
dramatic
man.
things here, being
Yeah.
like, yes, I respect you. I know what you're doing. I know what you're all about. But
Yeah.
hey, this is why I'm here. Let me do my thing.
Right.
So, going into the military aspect of it, I do like that
Yeah, the
his wife
pissing
shows up
contest.
and is like, "Look,
That's some bad fucking green screen here right now, you guys.
yeah."
Whew.
That she shows up, and she's like, "Quit being men."
Yeah.
This is basically what she's saying.
She's all, put your balls away.
Yeah, but to go to the military thing, David Schwimmer actually plays on Band of Brothers.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Yeah.
And he's Greenzo
And
in
he's-
30 Rock.
But yes, he's Queen Zone 30 Rock.
You're
But
taking away easy from me?
yeah, as David, he's great in Band of Brothers. Everyone's great in Band of Brothers, by the
Yeah.
way. If you haven't watched Band of Brothers,
It's a great show.
you should, at the end of this, not right now, at
Alright.
the end of this episode, you should stop and then go watch all of Band of Brothers because it's amazing. It's one of the, it is unbelievable.
That's
television.
a Spielberg thing, right?
Yes, it is so good. It's true. It's gonna get you to feel what these men felt.
Yeah.
It's everything you want out of a TV show.
Yep.
And he's great in it. He is wonderful in it. And I feel like, to your point, Ryan, if Matt LeBlanc would have been given a shot to have a role like that,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have done a bad job at it. I think
I don't
he could
either.
have done a
No,
good job with it. That's a cool effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That looks good.
That is a bad effect.
It's not bad.
That's a bad effect. Yeah. through the screen, it was okay.
But
but
yeah.
once
even
blurred-
even from a reason perspective, like what do they do? What are they looking at? Like, oh, it has bones. Well,
Yeah.
oh, thanks.
They want to make sure it's not just like, I don't know,
What are they looking
a
for?
bag of organs.
you have had pigeons.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
What are they looking
Go to the nurse.
for?
Oh, its fingers are suction cups. That just got weird.
Again, it's just why it doesn't do anything. It's not.
It's a cool thing. It's like we have like portable X-ray screen
no, not
things.
the X-ray screen. Forget the X-ray. The creature blarb. It's not plot relevant.
No, it's not.
It's not like kids aren't even.
It's
gonna
toy
attach to
saleable
it.
relevant.
But
Yeah.
it's not even that. Like you're gonna, as a kid.
I thought it was kind of a cool thing. It's like it's a cool space lizard
But if it's a kid,
monkey.
how old were you when this movie came out, Max?
I would have been 8 or 9.
Okay, so
Yes.
you're close in that realm, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that puts us at what, 13 roughly?
13? Yeah, so
Ish.
we were just out of it. We were just out of like the toy range on this. But like to me,
Yeah,
if you
but
were
this
a
was
kid,
this was me aging out of action figures.
yeah, if you were a kid, here again, the film grain's awful in the
Ugh.
scene, and you could tell it's all the blarp centric scenes.
Yeah.
So I think it's them trying to mask the CGI.
Implementation.
It's
Yeah.
trying to diminish the contrast between the live action footage and the CGI.
So, it seems less relevant today that this happens. It seems like they're really much closer to each other. But I remember as a kid that action figures always came out like 6 to 8 weeks before movies came out.
Maybe, yeah.
So, you'd go to the store and like the toys would get you excited for the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't keeping up as much with movie release dates and toy release dates. I remember, I think the Batman and Robin was the last thing I got really excited about.
Yeah.
For toy wise. Aside, because then I transitioned into Legos.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the two sets of toys I remember being very excited for when I was growing up. Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Yeah. And just
I had a friend who had a lot of those.
Bless my dad. I feel bad for taking advantage of him, but we were on Mackinac Island of all places, where everything is like 80% more expensive than everywhere else.
Because Mackinac Island.
And I guilted him into buying me a whole bunch of Jurassic Park toys at Mackinac Island when I was little.
Oh wow!
But I mean, the toys were cool. The fucking car was awesome,
and the dinosaurs had like
realistic
skin on them and everything.
So yeah, Jurassic Park, but also Aliens. I remember
that was the weirdest thing.
I was calling
how many alien toys there were.
They were
a movie
everywhere.
that not at all intended for
children.
And they had action figures that were not at all part of the movie.
No, because they were all like the expanded universe stuff.
I
from,
would
like,
call
the
around to
comics
toy
and shit.
stores trying to find the rest of the aliens to flesh out my set.
I like this scene a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because Gary Oldman is so sincere in this. He's so sincere.
Yeah.
He's just on a different level.
Yeah.
Right, you know?
And like
acting
LeBlanc
his
is
heart
just
out.
trying to be sarcastic. And
Yeah.
he doesn't.
Yeah.
He gets there and he's fine, but he's up against Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
And
There's no
it's
winning.
It's just not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
No, but yeah, like, I guess to my point on that is, as a kid, like if you went out and you got like the Blart action figure, right?
Mm-hmm. It was like a
Or the
big
Blart.
Blarp, not Kevin James.
on a Segway.
On a Segway, a literal
on a
Segway.
Right.
But if you got that, and like, imagine being like 7 or 8, which you can imagine, Max,
Yeah.
and like not have seen the movie yet, and showing up with your little blurb or whatever
Mm-hmm.
its name is, action figure, and being like, I'm so excited for this movie. I want to see this movie with like the thing that I'm excited about.
And then Blarp's in it for 7 minutes.
He's not in it at all.
Yeah.
So, all right, so this is fun.
Would you say Lost in Space?
I like it
maybe?
again. I like
This is making
scene a
use
lot.
of IP.
Yeah. It makes use of IP, but it's cool.
Yeah.
it's
a nice little scene.
It's a nice scene. It's a cool callback. It shows again that he's not incompetent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's well trained.
He's just arrogant.
He's arrogant, but he's also not just a straight up meathead. Like,
Right,
he's
right.
studied his history. He's studied exploration,
He says he has
navigation.
8 years of flight school, so he'd better know something.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
his
And-
6th senior year.
Right. Unfortunately, for as good as this scene is, and I agree, I do like the scene. I like pretty much everything about it. But this leads into something later in the movie that is just utterly stupid.
I know what you're talking about
Yeah.
exactly.
The callback later in the movie, I didn't mind it too much.
Even that's intellectual property, folks.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought it was a fun little deal, I guess. But from a plot perspective, I liked it. From an actual like the way they execute it perspective is really bad.
Yeah.
Also, these two can't draw.
No.
Hey, I mean, whatever. It's
Refog the
condensation
window. We
art.
need to redo this scene.
Yeah.
And then he just ruins it.
Yeah.
Good,
When they
good
cut
job,
back to
Joey.
Yeah.
they're about to cut back to Porky in a second. It looks like he's crying.
That's a really disturbing thought, actually. Just a sobbing Porky Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But oh well, what you gonna do?
Yeah.
We're the only single man and woman in this galaxy, so I need to ask, how you doing?
How you doing? Yeah, we had to.
Yeah.
YOLO, no regrets.
It's business.
It's
Business time. Business hours are booming. Yeah. Look, crying Porky Pig.
That unsettles me in a deeply emotional way.
It's just a strange moment here. Yeah.
I like that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that's what I mean by the strange moment. The joystick joke is
It's not good.
no.
And almost well, not almost, but it's just a way overplayed joke thrown against any person who ever operates a joystick in a movie. But I do like very much that Heather Graham's character is just like not having any of it. With Matt LeBlanc. Oh yeah, I forgot this asshole was in this movie.
Yeah.
What do you do again? Why are you even here?
Yeah. Just has a beard and does dad
looking
stuff.
concerned most
Just
of the time.
Model dad.
Right.
Thank you for doing with my bad singing, by the way.
You can serenade me all you want, Max.
Surprisingly, when I was in Japan, I never actually did any karaoke.
I've wondered about that. Because it's such a big deal over there.
Yeah, like I walked by the places that have like the full-on like costume racks.
Okay.
Like out in the in like the lobby, you know, like the high-end karaoke places.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I know our very good friend Dave Ashworth participates in karaoke and has a great time. I don't know if I have the guts to do it, but it just seems like a ton of fun.
Yeah.
So this is okay. So the pillow whack just then is one of the very few moments where I give a shit about either of these characters.
Yeah. Well, but going back to what you were saying, James, the more I think about it, the more this kind of is like it does have a Fantastic Four feel to it.
Yeah,
he's not as science obsessed as Reed Richards typically is, though. So.
I mean, he talks about later on that like he just can't. Even later in the movie, he talks about how he doesn't have the ability to talk to his son yet because he has to solve them getting off of the planet.
Yeah.
So I feel there's
oh
God,
Lord,
oh man,
that was so bad. Looking through that
more
fucking
retractor
window.
tech.
Yeah. I like that Blarp literally says Blarp right there.
Yep.
It's a Pokemon.
Yep.
Yeah. So
that's not a bad shot now.
no.
But what does Matt LeBlanc's line even mean in the context of that scene? It's very weird.
I don't know. I see he has some ill-fitting 90s clothing right now.
Yep.
Basically.
I really feel like this is just in the tradition of Fantastic Four movies to come after this movie, just a bad Fantastic Four movie.
Subpar 7.
So we talked at length about Black Panther. That's funny, actually.
Yeah, just
moving the water.
That is a nice. That is nice.
That's nice. Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, the most recent reboot of Fantastic Four. I don't know if either of you guys saw it, but
no,
it is a complete disaster.
Yes,
but in typical Fantastic Four fashion, the actor who plays the Human Torch, previously Chris Evans, most recently Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan is fucking great as the Human Torch in the most recent iteration, but the movie sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, because I like Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
He's hilarious.
He's really funny.
He is absolutely charismatic.
Yep. Well,
Doug Jones did an okay job as Silver Surfer, as Doug Jones does.
Yeah, I think the thing with those two characters, though, actors Michael B. Jordan and Chris Evans, it both shows you why post those movies they went on to be
other things,
superstars.
Yeah.
I mean, they are charismatic, great actors that are
certainly.
a lot of fun.
No question.
Michael B. Jordan, I think, has spread his wings more than Chris Evans already between playing on Creed and and Killmonger.
Creed.
Those are both
those two roles
wildly different roles.
Well,
those will be like his defining roles of his young
the Creed role particularly.
Oh, for sure.
And
for sure.
I agree to a point, but Chris Evans has actually been in a fair amount of things other than Marvel movies since kind of breaking large as Cap.
I haven't seen
they haven't
I'll be honest with
seen mainstream success really.
Okay.
Like Snowpiercer is a good example.
That's a great example,
right?
actually. He's
Yeah.
great in that movie. Yeah. I mean, the line of
I know what humans taste like. I know babies taste best.
I hate that I know that babies taste best.
It's
delivered
a fantastic
so
movie,
well.
and he's great.
Yeah, he is great in that.
You hear that show's getting that movie's becoming a TV series?
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be. I don't
unless
know
they
how
want to
he's
do
fine.
unless they want to do just like weird like standalone episodes, like kind of like a Black Mirror thing, where it's like because how that movie ends, it's like okay, it's not going to be after that.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's got to be like early on.
Yeah, I guess.
So Will's rewards here, his little like you got first place bullshit.
Very sharp.
When I watched this for the podcast the other day, I was like, Christ, those things look like you could just shred any material because of how sharp it is. It actually becomes a plot point later in the movie.
Yes, it does.
You go, you little bastard.
Yeah. Just to circle back though on Michael B. Jordan one last time, Adonis Creed, the way he plays Adonis Creed is so good. Like it is unbelievably good.
Yeah, I caught like the last third of that movie.
Respect.
Yeah, and
I would love to watch the whole thing.
I mean, once you watch that whole thing, you really understand why Coogler plucked.
Do you remember
Oof, that's
a
not
couple
great.
of years ago on
That's-
St. Patrick's Day when I was in Madison and texting you because they had a Rocky marathon?
Yes.
And I was drinking you in my hotel room, being like, the story of Rocky is the story of America as it progresses throughout the ages. It's the scrappy underdog who wins and then gets drunk off its own success and fails.
That's deep, Max.
Yeah.
Madison was a
is-
lot of fun.
It's such a family movie turn for a relationship here.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I hate you, but now we can be friends.
Yeah. Sundare.
That smile, I think that's what it is, Ryan, that you're talking about. Like that smile
the
is
Joey
the Joey
smirk.
smile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been years, but I would very much like to watch the Matthew Perry, Bruce Campbell, and Elizabeth Hurley film, Serving Sarah again.
Oh boy.
Ooh, boy.
This is not good at all.
No.
Okay, so
His
the
ski
blue lighting
gloves.
would make sense on the nature of that blue dome thing. And
Right.
the glass shattering effect there doesn't look terrible.
Again, thematically, I am on board, but
Yeah.
it's and Max limitations of the technology,
Mm-hmm.
but it looks so bad. Also, just quick interjection: similar themes now compared to the recent release of Annihilation with Natalie Portman, which I found to be extremely entertaining. There are some plots.
I love you, wife. I'm sorry, Ryan.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just the stupidest line.
It's
that is the
very
pure
stupid.
dad dialogue.
I love you, wife.
Come here, squirt.
Also, yeah.
Come here, squirt is a line in a very different, more adult movie.
No.
But no,
yeah.
that's something my dad probably has called me. My dad likes to call me
Oof.
sport.
Oh, that film grain, dog.
So
Lord.
this movie in length and in content has made me move on to the second beer that I bought.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Mine.
So I'm at this
Pass
weird.
the-
I
pass
bought
that glass over.
Yeah, I bought a bomber of Unity Vibration. It's their Bourbon Peach American Wild Ale.
That sounds so good.
It's
I
a
wanted it.
kombucha ale.
Oh, kombucha.
Yeah, kombucha.
I actually got a message from one of my friends being
It's
like, hey, here's some
interesting.
kombucha you should have on your podcast.
Yeah.
So, Patrick, we are taking your advice and drinking kombucha.
I haven't had any yet. Please save me
Sweeter
some.
than I expected it to be.
Have you ever
from
had
the
kombucha
smell-
before?
From the smell, it's way
I
sweeter
have,
than
yeah.
you're going to expect it to be.
So I've
I've had a little bit before.
See, I've got this quandary right now where I have Fireberry left in my glass, but I really want to drink this other thing.
Well,
But I
I'll
don't
pour
wanna
some into my
blast through
glass,
the
and
Fireberry.
then...
Hey, look, Will Robinson is building the original robot.
Robot.
Good job. I do love this scene.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is happening to me?
I also like, again, spoilers for this movie that's 20 years old. I like that when we see the future version of Robot with the grown-up Will,
Mm-hmm.
that 95% of Robot is like the classic Robot, but they just have the one
arm?
contemporary Robot just arm like glued to him.
Yeah.
We had a spare. This is like dialogue out of The Tick,
Yes, it is.
Right. I also
but this does not compute.
I have trouble.
It's Danger Boat.
Yeah.
Well,
or when The Tick thinks he's a robot. Sorry if you haven't watched the second
Yes.
half of season 1.
Maybe.
I like the scene. I do like the scene, but I have a hard time believing that Will Robinson gives a single fuck about baseball.
Maybe it's space baseball. Maybe he likes the physics of
It's
it.
Blurns Ball.
Basketball.
It's basketball.
Basketball. Oh, ha ha. Yeah, Robot is great. I mean, for the female roles in this movie, they do. I mean, they're
female roles
involved.
in this movie.
Yeah, they're all
strong.
extremely
Yep.
technical.
Yep.
His Maureen is a professor, Judy's a doctor, and Penny is
Yep.
some video mechanics person.
This is, I mean, this is a fairly endearing shot, as most of these are with Penny Vision.
Yeah.
Space goth.
I remember thinking Penny was very cute when I was young.
I think that's what you're supposed to think as a child.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as 13-year-old Ryan, I was like, okay.
I'm down.
Yeah, I don't think I honestly can't remember her name right now.
The actress who plays Penny?
Judy's actress.
Heather Graham.
Oh,
Heather Graham. Heather Graham is for the like for the lack of a better
The
word,
20s?
is for like the 20s or like the dads.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because she would play an Austin Powers girl.
Yeah.
Felicity
it happens
Shagwell.
to- Yeah.
Felicity Shagwell. What is the name? I can't remember. I can remember Goldmember. What the hell's the name of the Spy Who Shagged Me? That's what it was. The Spy
No,
Who
that
Shagged
was
Me.
the rumored. Oh, yeah, that was.
I'm trying to remember the movie title.
Title of the second one. Yeah.
The second one is Spy Who Shagged Me.
Yeah.
The rumored title of the fourth Austin Powers movie would have been For Your Thighs Only.
Nice. That would have been great. So it must have been that faux India movie that he made that killed the fourth Austin
The
Powers
Love
movie.
Guru?
Oh, the Love Guru.
With Justin Timberlake?
I heard that's terrible.
I heard it's very bad.
Yeah,
Like, just glued
I
on.
never saw it. But
I think that's what killed
I
his
love
career,
this,
for the most
actually.
part.
I will tell you a joke.
I think so because he hasn't really done anything after that besides
This kills me. Inglourious
Inglourious
Bastards?
Bastards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
the
was
guy
a
who
great
explains
cameo.
Operation Kino.
Operation Kino.
This is great. This
Yeah.
scene with the kid is so great from Gary Oldman. Just manipulative and everything you want out of it.
And actually, we've gone through quite a bit of movie without Gary Oldman.
Yes, we have.
Yes, good half hour,
They've put him in his
or at least it feels like a half hour.
yeah, they put him in his tantrum pod.
I have a tantrum pod.
The angry dome from Futurama.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
No, this
I'm gonna pour some of this new stuff
kombucha is
now.
pretty good. Urban Rest in Ferndale, as well as being just a very solid brewery, also makes like, kombucha. So next time you're around, give it a shot.
Go ahead, Ryan. You can finish it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a good amount.
Yeah,
Yep.
you got a fair port.
Yep. I'm fair. Yep.
You all heard it.
Yep.
All one person listening to the podcast.
No, we average a number.
A person
greater-
and a half.
We average a double-digit number for listeners of the podcast.
Thank you. Any and all folks who are listening. This is just so much fun. Thank you for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a great scene. Go ahead and just kind of watch this.
Yep.
I guess there's not much we
Yeah.
can say about it.
Other than this kombucha is good.
Yeah.
It's
so
not.
go ahead, Ryan.
It's not too sweet. I'm glad I just have this about 6-ounce pour from that
Yeah.
bottle.
It doesn't taste like it smells at all. It smells way more sour than it actually tastes.
It might be the combination of the tannins from the barrel, and the peach. Maybe.
I mean, it tastes very much like a peach. The peach flavor comes way out in the taste.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't come out in the smell at all.
I agree. I mean, they're both very pleasant,
Yeah.
but they're very distinct and not what I thought it was going to taste
Yeah,
like.
if somebody would not have called this a wild ale, I wouldn't have thought that it would have been a wild ale. It's that sweet.
Okay.
Oh, this is good. This is really... I'm going to have Kayla try this. She might like this. This is yummy. Good work, James.
To give you an idea of where I am in this evening, I just tried to smell my beer and smelled the microphone instead.
Yeah.
Notes of plastic and metal.
Yeah. Which is someone who paints, that's the equivalent of drinking your paint water when you have a drink next to it.
Whoops.
Whoops.
How many times have you done that?
A lot.
Fucking Gary Oldman.
Yes.
The most
That's
sinister
such
doctor.
a good face right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he...
That shot doesn't belong in this movie. That shot's too
No.
good of a shot for this movie.
The Gary Oldman one?
Yes, right there. Also, now we have the farting plant zone, which
Right.
look like butts.
Yep.
They look like inverted scrotums.
They look like fuzzy Brussels sprouts.
I like that all three
Email
of
us at Good Brews Bad Views Podcast
But
and
what
tell
you
us what
think
you
it
think
looks
these look like.
Yeah.
That is our email address, right?
Good Briz Bet.
Okay, just triple check it. I have been drinking since, I don't know, hours ago.
All right,
Yep.
so I will say I appreciate.
Since 5 p.m. It's about
Since 3.
9?
We've been drinking since 3.
9.
I will say I appreciate this scene from the fact that it's all practical.
Aside from the blob. Yeah, the blob. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a nice little, like, scrotum sprouts.
So that's one of the things. And when the movie came out, to compare the
so
two
good.
movies, both of these movies came out and both of them were panned, but one has become a cult hit, and that's Galaxy Quest.
I haven't watched that in
So-
years, and I should.
Galaxy Quest does way, way, way more with the practical in the movie as opposed to this does.
It also, honestly,
And it's tongue in cheek, and it's Star Trek, and I know it has in the column for like yes, it's got way more checks than this one does
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
But I present to you the idea that if this movie had more practical effects on planet or on the ship, it would be more well loved now.
I
don't think the effects are what make this movie a problem. I feel tonally this movie's kind of a little bit all over the place. Because it's very much like exploration and science, when it's like, the future is set and it is terrible. Our planet is dying.
I agree
Space spiders.
with yeah, I agree with both of you.
Good shot.
Yes.
Yeah, this is a cool
Ominous
this
little
is-
thing.
This
Yeah.
I think Ryan, you and I talked about this. This is where the movie suddenly gets really good.
Yeah.
But it's also where a movie gets really dark.
It does get really dark, but it's really good.
Yeah.
This twist is amazing.
This is a great again.
Yeah, because
this-
you don't see it coming.
No, this twist is way better than this movie deserves.
Right. I mean, again, plot wise and narrative wise, it's actually really great. It's
Yeah.
just what has been actualized onto what we're watching is not
Yeah.
what it deserves. But yeah, just with the comments we were making a moment ago, I agree that had a lot more emphasis been placed on practical effects, this movie may have been received a little better than it was. But I also, again, comparing to Galaxy Quest, I think that overall the cast in Galaxy Quest is a lot more.
Oh, they work so much better.
Independent of time.
They work so much better together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, Tony
Yeah.
Shalhoub. These are
Tim Allen. Is
Tim
good in
Allen. Yeah, I mean that cast is a lot more conducive to the longevity of, the relevance of the movie and the entertainment
Tim
value
Allen.
of it.
Now there's a guy who's had a very interesting career.
That's
he has.
to say the least. Yeah.
There's also a guy who benefited very much from being a white man.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. From
So
his cocaine bust.
You've seen the photo of
Yeah.
him getting busted?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, but the reason I
That's
say
right,
that,
everyone. Buzz Lightyear did cocaine.
yeah, the reason I say that is that like,
Dealt cocaine.
this end of the
Allegedly.
movie,
Probably both.
I think you could pluck this end to the movie and pretty much drop it into a modern day movie, and outside of the weird little time travel portal, and the monster,
Mm-hmm.
it would work.
Right.
No,
okay.
yeah,
Right.
it's a
So, and I think that's what one of the reasons
it is a good third act.
yes,
definitely.
it's a really good
Probably
third act.
the strongest one in the movie.
Yeah,
It is also
of all the third acts in the
refreshing
movie.
from a modern standpoint in that it is not.
I'm turning James off. Hold on.
I'm adding that to the list of GBBV drinking games of when Ryan's like, I'm turning James off. The other item is when James complains about the weather. But no. This third act is very, very refreshing from a modern standpoint in the sense that it is not a CGI schlock fest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
agreed.
even looks good.
Yeah.
I like how that looks.
No, it's a nice big set here. The CGI is minimal.
Yep.
It's like the arc reaction from Iron Man 1.
So to pull back to my Expanse thing, this character plays Anderson Dawes on
This actor?
This actor plays Anderson Dawes on The Expanse, who's an amazing actor, and I love the fact that he showed up in this movie because he's so good. He's so good as Old Billy.
I
Billy,
know
William,
I've seen him in other stuff too, and I can't put my finger on it.
He showed up in Fringe.
Sure. He's a fairly
That's
ubiquitous.
Jared Harris.
Yeah, a fairly ubiquitous kind of supporting actor.
Yeah. He typically plays a leader or a lieutenant of like an enemy faction.
He plays Moriarty in the Sherlock Holmes Game of Shadows.
Oh,
Yeah, he's super good.
that's great.
He's a wonderful actor. I love that he shows up here.
Moriarty.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he, in a lot of ways, steals a lot of these end scenes. And then I will say once, spoiler alert, once
Spider-Smith.
Smith?
Spider-Smith shows up, He is really creepy and really great when he keeps the robe on. I wish he would have never taken the robe off.
When the robe, I totally agree. When the robe comes off, it's kind of shattered.
I think it was just well, spoilers. I think it was just to show the extent to which he had transformed.
Yeah, I get it, but
because there's hints at what had happened.
Yeah.
But that's kind of, I agree. I don't disagree. But I think it's way more potent from what the audience sees to keep him under the cloak for the rest of the movie, to imply that he's probably completely different under that cloak. Clearly, from his height, his stature, his frame.
More of
from a family movie. I get the reason why they uncloak him because it's like they have to be.
It's the big reveal.
It's for kids,
and it also ties into the plot point with the first prize. Rewards. Actually.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get why they take the cloak off, but from a character design standpoint, he looks great with the cloak on.
He is infinitely more ominous with the cloak on.
Yeah, he really is.
So I want your guys' opinion on something. So I almost think the
way
movie
ahead
is
of
kind of
ourselves.
wrapping
There's
up
still
here.
40 minutes left of this damn movie.
Fuck my life.
You think you're like, oh yeah, we're getting to the end. No, we are not.
So
he's sweaty again, by the way.
Right.
Perpetually
sweaty. Perpetually sweat.
I'm sweaty.
I kind of think this
Scrotum.
This entire movie could have removed Father Robinson from the movie almost completely, and he could have been like a point of just verbal reference for most of the family, because he adds nothing. When he's on screen, he adds nothing to this movie.
Yeah, and almost like float in and out of their lives and stay in his lab or constantly working away from them.
And then he is Reed Richards.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and maybe even some. I guess some. To stretch it a bit, to maybe make some flashbacks,
like Mr. Fantastic.
There it is.
Well, I mean,
but he adds nothing. His physical presence to these scenes could have been written in such a way where he doesn't matter. He doesn't matter at all.
He matters here.
He matters here, and
it could have been someone else.
Yeah, but changing what my father never did come back for me, like yelling at his mom.
Yeah. He doesn't matter. He's erroneous.
I think in comparison, like the other two like male leads or supporting roles,
fucking
Gary Oldman,
man.
And Matt LeBlanc, they each have something distinct about their personality, or about their portrayal or these characters or whatever. And William Hurt's just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's there for narrative purposes. He's there to be the patriarch of the family. Like this, movie doesn't. Yeah,
step away from the boombox, Major.
Right. I guess my point is William Hurt's character and the idea of it and the ramifications of his absenteeism as a father are important to the narrative, but we don't need William Hurt's presence to support it. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense.
It's almost more. Are you trying to say it'd almost be more powerful if he wasn't around?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the discussion of how Major West keeps mentioning William Hurt's father. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, your father gave, this was the Art of War by Robinson family or whatever. Also, Robinson Swiss Family Robinson, the family that goes off and gets lost on an island.
Robinson Crusoe?
No. From the movies or the book Swiss Family Robinson of the Swiss.
Yeah.
Yep. Which I didn't really connect until I watched this. I'm like, oh yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Instead of pirates, they deal with space spiders.
Right. I'm gonna be honest. The first time I watched this movie, and then the second time I watched this movie just this week. It's coming up in a moment here when we see Future Smith.
These two are so good on screen together.
Yeah, they play off each other well.
Oh, yes.
It's so good. That still looks good.
I can't tell. Is it CG?
I don't think so.
I think it's a very well done mix of both.
This is
a la Jurassic Park.
A la Chewbacca's face.
Right.
And from the most recent Star Wars.
And I'll be honest, I was kind of duped again on my original viewing and then the subsequent one this week. I was very excited for the redemption of this character. I was really at the prospect of him being truly redeemed. I was like, yeah, that's awesome. And again, spoilers, he's not.
Mm-hmm. He's so menacing with this cloak on.
Yeah.
It's actually very disturbing.
Yeah.
I
Also,
love
the
everything
fact
about the
that
design.
You can tell that his robe is made up of multiple suits, like the space suits or whatever.
Yeah. It's such a cool design. You don't need the reveal. I think that if this isn't a family movie, they don't reveal him.
Right. And everything that Smith talks about after throwing his past self out the fucking window.
Yeah.
I believe this. Like, I bought it as the audience.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah.
I was buying into his tale.
Yeah.
And they've already established that, like, oh, this will happen no matter what we do.
Yeah.
So there's no, like, oh, we accidentally killed the past Smith. This future doesn't exist. So
Right. Yeah.
It's a nice little
I mean,
narrative.
he's not dead.
Just, like,
Even that, like, he's so creepy and
Yeah.
cool.
it's a nice little, like, narrative, like, oh, fixed point in time, like Doctor Who does all the time.
Yeah. With another great actor there, the fixed point in time, who plays Captain Jack.
Harkness.
Harkness. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
What's his name?
From Torchwood and
Yep.
Arrow.
And Arrow.
Mervyn Merlin. I don't know what it guys.
Yeah, he plays Merlin. He plays
Someone will
Merlin's
phone
father.
it. It's not
Yeah.
going to be me because I haven't watched that show.
I will look.
I
it
know
up.
which actor you're talking about. Bisexual in space.
Even younger me was like, all right, this is too much. Just
I see him hanging out
Appealing.
with Jake Lloyd a lot.
just appealing to the robot's heart.
Yeah.
Every line delivered by the voice actor for the robot is perfect.
It's
John Barrowman.
yeah,
Excellent.
that's what it is. Yeah.
That is he's another great actor, by the way. But the future Billy and the Billy, Jesus, just call him Billy because it's
Yeah.
insulting. And Gary Oldman on screen. That's a great acting moment. They're so good together.
Yeah. Yep.
Ah!
I mean, it makes sense for movies, but the idea that a robot would be incapable of internal monologue, like, there's no reason to just describe every fucking thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
It would make it like much more menacing.
Yeah.
It's like for episode 1, there's what's known as the Phantom Edit, where they remove all of the dialogue of the droids. And a bunch of other things, like the journey through the planet's core.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, this is
And it vastly improves the movie because it makes
Yeah.
it much more in line with the original
Okay.
Star Wars.
So we've talked about CGI in this movie. I haven't seen it in a while, but I've heard that the pod racing CGI holds up still.
It does. It does.
And that that's one of that even when I watched it, that was one of the better scenes was the pod racing scene.
It's
Yeah.
because you see them as well. You at least see Anakin's pod racer as a practical, prop.
Well,
For a few scenes.
and even from an acting standpoint, like, it's a really cool, fun scene. Like, it's a lot of fun,
Yeah.
like fun Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clear, having watched, Kayla and I watched that somewhat recently, all the first 3 episodes, and it's clear why the pod racing scene spawned
a
a full
Yeah.
So
racing
good.
game.
I love that game. I remember
Why would you have that?
Yeah.
Of all the things you could scavenge to make a weapon out of, a fucking trophy? I
I remember back when you could rent
pokey.
an N64 from Blockbuster.
Yes.
man.
We rented one and I got pod racing.
What a
with it.
stressful experience experience renting a console from Blockbuster.
Yeah.
That was always an ordeal, man.
I didn't handle that. My parents did.
I did it a few times.
I like that. He's still breathing. Like, they're just disappointed that he's
Yeah.
still alive.
Yeah. I hate this. I hate this. What's happening? It hasn't happened yet. Yep. Okay.
Don't
okay.
need this. Don't need the
And then-
dialogue. Look
and
at that
then-
grain.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that film.
Fucking
and then
Daffy Duck.
Daffy Duck.
They didn't even mention Daffy Duck
No
in
one-
their talk.
No one has Daffy Duck rockets. I'm sorry. It doesn't make any
some-
sense.
Well,
Some good pyrotechnics
It
in the
does call
future.
back to your fireworks joke, Ryan. Here's
yeah.
some good. This is Indiana Jones level of special effects here,
Yeah,
but I'm
no,
okay
this is
with
good.
it.
This holds up for the most part. That's pretty bad there with the collapsing landscape. But
so I guess that goes back to my point with Galaxy Quest, right? Because Galaxy Quest is a love note to the original Star Trek.
Yeah.
Not Next Generation, the original Star Trek with all its camp and everything else. And you mentioned, Max, that this TV show was super campy.
Yeah.
Right? That again,
fucking
it's
Smith.
so good.
Oh, it's great.
Good
But
sound design.
if this show
Old
if this movie would have
monster.
gone more campy, I really wonder if there would have been a resurgence in love in people wanting and love for it.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good. He's such a good actor. Like the subtle smiles and
Yeah.
And his eye
and
movements.
eye movements,
Yeah.
and everything. So I think that Smith here, the suit is practical and the face is CGI. I think it's a practical face that they CGI into the suit.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's my guess on it.
Probably.
It's so cool.
It's so
the cloak
good.
is great. And it's just
I like I like the suggestion that there's a second hand.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there's a couple of little suggestions that he's got more than 4 limbs.
Yep.
and it's great. I mean, Gary Oldman does a great job of just having a distinctly monstrous way of speaking now. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
speak
It's because
the
he
same
has
way.
the very refined upper crust, not Shakespearean, but high society tone in comparison with everyone's
he's
very just like
bourgeois English.
his bougie voice.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then it just ruins it.
Yeah, this
It's
looks
so
this
bad.
Is unfortunate.
Oh. I know it's 20 years old, but
In theory, it's not.
no, Max.
This should have always been kept under the cloak. You could have this scene and how it
He-
What
extends.
is so bad?
Check my butt out.
He's no
The
longer
old
menacing.
spider.
He's not menacing at all anymore.
Yeah, it's because of the wiry structure they go to capture to compare to the actual spider. But like if they maybe would have showed the extra limbs coming out of the robes.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was going. They could have executed a lot of this final sequence with him still in the cloak and still being, effectively menacing and ominous, but still also conveyed these other suggestions about his anatomy and the plot twist that we're about to see, the plot device with the egg sac. They could have done that and still kept him in the cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The face on the long neck. He just does like you said. He's so wiry that one of the things that's great when he's in the cloak is he looks really big.
Yeah.
He's massive.
He takes up the screen.
So part of me thinks they were trying to go Alien Queen here. That's what this feels like to me.
Yeah.
It's got the same
Alien
large
Queen
shape.
plus Emperor.
Take the first place.
Yeah. But the Alien Queen is so much bigger. Like
Alien Queen was a 9-foot puppet.
Yeah, but she takes up space, right?
Yeah.
You never feel like he's taking up space at all.
No. It looks like, he has except when he's standing with his legs very spread like that.
Yeah.
It's very much
look,
like
they're
you
eating
are
him.
just as wide as an actual human, if not less.
Yeah.
Oh no! Time Donut eats you.
That was really risky on his part. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
You could have just knocked him into the past.
And
Yeah.
he could have been taken along for the ride.
Yeah. Because presumably, if there's only enough
Saved
time
by the
to
dog chain.
if there's only enough power to send one of you through, if one goes through before the other, do you just get eaten up by energy?
Maybe.
I'm not
Those
getting
are
into
questions
the
we're
science
never
of it,
getting answered.
But that seems like what would presumably happen. What happened to him would have happened to you, right?
Yeah.
The one of the reasons I like with the long hair here is that they're clearly trying to have Will Robinson look like that's a bad film grain. But
like his dad.
look like his dad, but
Yeah.
like
And
a derelict
I
version
think they
of his
do a
father,
good
right?
job with that.
Yeah, they do a good job with that.
So maybe
Even
nitpick-
even with the high forehead.
all right.
Yeah.
maybe nitpicking a little too much even for this movie.
Oh,
So we watched future Will Robinson kind of come to the realization that he has been used, right?
Yes.
over 20 years.
I find that given the intelligence that is implied Will Robinson has at a very young age, that this scenario is not something he would have come across way sooner.
Yeah, I can see him getting tricked as a child because he does.
He's very naive.
We watch him get tricked as a
Right,
child.
but this is what 20 years
But I
after
think your
the
point
fact?
is like at 15 or 16,
Yeah,
he
he
would have
would've-
been like,
yeah,
wait,
no,
this
fuck
isn't
this.
working. Yeah.
Why are you turning into a spider?
Yeah.
Oh, that was another plot point of the sequels. They're going to try to stop Smith from becoming Spider Smith.
Oh, okay. Because he's not Spider Smith yet. Because he's
Yes.
still breathing, right?
He's still alive, yeah. Also, they brought Future Robot onto the ship, and he's still making a robot, so there would be 2 robots. Which I wanted to see the robots talking to each other. I am from the future.
Dual
I
robot
saw
action.
Smith kill all of the other family. You cannot trust him.
I mean, that's an interesting plot point, actually, right?
Yeah. Future characters talking to themselves.
Yeah.
Like Spock and Spock in the new Star Trek.
Yes. So, actually, let's talk about the new Star Trek because I think there's a lot of parallels between this movie and the new Star Trek.
Okay. Which one? The newest?
The original new Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
So
the J.J.
2011
Abrams
one.
the J.J. Abrams first movie
with Chris
Lens of
Pine,
Error
Chris Pine and
Extravaganza.
everybody
Zachary
else.
Quinto, and
Yep.
Joseph
Simon Pegg.
Yep.
Sancho,
So they
Simon Pegg.
pulled in a lot of ways in the
Zoe
same manner.
Saldana,
Yes.
Carl
Thank
Urban.
you. Yeah,
Carl
Zoe Saldana.
Urban.
Yeah, Carl.
Oh,
So in the same way as this movie, they pulled some actors out of nowhere, right?
yeah.
Some of these people we don't know, which is what the new Star Trek did also. But it
Star
also
Wars.
pulled Star Trek.
You said, but also the new.
I'm talking Star Trek.
Oh, this movie pulled actors out of nowhere. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Just
continue.
like how the new Star Trek did. And both of these movies, well, one of the things with the new Star Trek was supposed to be we make this movie and then we go into a series. They were trying to turn that around, and then Paramount and CBS couldn't agree to the rights.
Okay.
Is what happened. That's a cool. I love this plot twist here. Again, another plot twist. It's so good. This whole third act is amazing.
yeah.
I love this third act from the most of the
And again,
scene
yeah.
setting.
If you remove William Hurt from the scene, it's still fine.
So anyway, I think there's a lot of parallels between the new Star Trek and this movie. I really do. Both of them were clearly setting up for more, right? You talked about it, Max. There's a sequel that's supposed to come after this. The new Star Trek was supposed to set up a series that never happened because 2 corporations couldn't agree on how much money each other would get. That's literally the argument they had about was profit splitting.
That's most arguments.
Because they specifically designed it that way. J.J. Abrams and the casting organization plucked people who were up and coming but not yet huge because they figured they could transition them to TV way easier than they could transition them to, much easier
From TV to movie.
From movie. Instead of pulling people from movie to TV, they grab people who were trying to step into movie and instead say, hey, we can put you on TV and put you on probably the biggest TV show that's going to come out this season.
Mm-hmm.
If
That's not Game of Thrones.
Right. But it might be Game of Thrones.
Oh, no. That was the same year as Game of Thrones.
But even the same way, if a TV show came out not on CBS's...
Whoops, pushed him too far. He's dead.
Yeah. CBS... Yeah.
Guess I got to go back now. Hope my younger self believes that I'm the real...
Yeah. CBS's weird, paywalled off streaming service.
Yeah.
A new Star Trek on TV, at least the first 2 or 3 episodes, is probably going to be the biggest draw on TV outside of probably Game of Thrones right now, right?
Yeah.
People are going to flock to it.
Yeah. And that's coming back in 2019, so...
Grabbing people that were up and coming and being like, Chris Pine is going to be on this, Carl Urban is going to be on this, Simon Pegg, these people, and they're going to be on here. That would make sense, right? They could pull... If they would have pulled... he was trying to go for a movie career right now, right? But if
Matt LeBlanc
could have gotten Terminal Velocity or escape velocity, I should say, to get away from Friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would. This is his goal right now, right? He was trying to get off of Friends here.
Right.
So if
I can't speak to the amount of Matt LeBlanc that's in this amount of Friends, this period of Friends. So.
Right, but if he would have escaped Friends, even to another TV show that wasn't Friends-centric, because there was a spinoff called Joey, I think.
There was.
It lasted 2 years.
It lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
But if they would have been able to turn this into a TV show that would have been more darker and an adult,
Yeah.
I don't see...
I would have tuned in.
Batfist.
Yeah. That's exactly what that was.
Bye.
I don't see a failure there. I think that both of these movies were trying to do very much the same thing. And it's interesting to me that neither succeeded for similar or for different reasons. That this bombed, and the new Star Trek didn't bomb at all. It did well.
And it's a way better movie.
It's a way better movie. I really enjoy the new Star Trek. I know there's a lot of people who don't because they're very Star Trek purists.
By new Star Trek, you mean the first of the
first of the
series.
reboot.
of the trilogy?
Yeah, with Chris Pine.
With Chris Pine.
Yeah.
And
I
also
thought
Chris
they were-
Hemsworth, by the way, who plays his
Right.
father.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So they fail for different reasons in their ultimate goal, right?
Yes.
The ultimate goal for this movie probably would have been to have a sequel like you talked about,
Sure.
maybe not a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
But they both, Genesis-wise, come about in very much the same way.
Yeah,
It's watching this, I was thinking about how we knock the aughts or the late aughts or the early teens of the 21st century for being like adaptation crazy. But when you look, like, the more and more I look back into the 90s, and it was like, no, they were just as bad.
it's just as bad for sure.
I think what a lot of it was that the late 90s were so bad, like the adaptations were so bad.
None of them stuck.
That none of them stuck at all.
Sure. I think that's a fair assessment.
And I think part of the problem with the new Star
my
Trek
God.
series is that the first movie was great. I really, really enjoyed the first movie. I'll defend the second movie, and I know a lot of people actually liked the third movie.
I didn't like
I
the
didn't
third.
see the third
I
one.
didn't at all. I thought
Again,
the second,
jet ski driving.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, I thought the second movie was better than the third movie.
This scene looks...
That's correct.
This
I
scene
agree.
looks good. Sorry, just going back
Yeah.
to the movie
No,
at
this
hand.
looks good. This looks
Yeah,
fine.
this isn't bad.
I figure, as far as, like, this is your CGI climax,
Jet
but
ski.
it's not...
That is weird, but okay.
Yeah.
But it's
I think that's
that's
a
a
model.
mini.
That's why. I think that's a model on CGI green screen.
Yeah, but so there's a lot of CGI in this final scene of the movie, but it's not excessive that I associate with movies of today. So I think that's why, like, this last scene is just fine. I mean,
Yeah, a lot
it
of
looks
this is
dated,
models.
but it's
only a model.
Yeah.
quiet.
Quiet you. Yeah, I mean, just real quickly on the new Star Treks. Yeah, the first and second, which are the two directed by J.J. Abrams, I liked a lot. I very much liked the second one. The third one was at best. But, yeah, I like the first two a lot. Benedict Cumberbatch was, canon aside versus the original version of Khan, I thought he was great as Khan. But whatever. Mother Graham, give me a kiss.
Everyone is sweaty.
Oh, everyone is sweaty. It's
Jesus.
getting hot in here,
I can
so
eat your
sweat up
face.
all your clothes.
The family looking like weirdly over there is kind of
Yeah.
strange. The eyebrow wiggle that Penny gives right there is
Pretty
fun.
good.
I'm okay with that. There's the cheesy 1950s or 1960s space in the background again, Ryan. The like the green and the blue. That's
Yeah.
I mean that's straight. That is straight out of Star Trek.
Hey guys, remember Blarp?
Yeah. Oh yeah, this thing's a part of the movie, guys. Blarp serves no purpose. You could completely remove Blarp and be okay.
Yeah, Blarp and Father Robinson.
I'd rather see.
I want this movie narrated by robot. And
Oh,
then the
yeah.
Robinsons went
I would
into
watch
space,
that.
and I tried to kill them
If this
because
commentary
I
by
was
robot.
a robot.
Yes, if this movie had a director's commentary with Robot doing the voice, I would watch that.
Here you see me as a robot caring about baseball. Why does Will Robinson care about baseball? He does not look like someone who cares about baseball.
And what
That is a nice That is a nice final line by Will Robinson.
Cool.
Just cool.
Yeah.
Also a trailer moment. Also, what a disgusting set of end credits.
This is like Spawn tier.
This is bad.
So this speaks into something I forgot to talk about in this movie. Remember watching
Pervasive
it?
90s-ness.
No. This movie has really bad music.
The original soundtrack's okay.
So
It's just like there's a part of this movie that is literally Hanna-Barbera music.
That's probably. So
And
here we
then-
have like. Here we have like a.
This?
This is the original theme with like the electronic background.
Yeah, but it's awful. When they start throwing the quotes over it from the movie,
you know,
I've tuned out by this
It's
point.
disgusting.
it's so bad.
But it's funny that you bring the soundtrack up because I'm going to be honest. Watching this movie twice in the past couple days right now, I paid zero attention. Or let me say that differently. The soundtrack demanded none of my attention
It's very
throughout most
forgettable.
of the movie. It means nothing. It's meaningless.
Yeah, and that's-
it's Diet John Williams.
Not
Like during that end sequence
that's
throughout
generous.
watching this movie again is the first time I picked up on the soundtrack playing in the background.
I mean, I use Hanna-Barbera very specifically because there's parts in this movie where it feels like it is like Elmer Fudd should be walking around. I know that's not Hanna-Barbera.
I'm
but
hunting spiders.
yeah, it's like cartoon level old symphony music. It's just atrocious.
Yeah.
For a movie that was supposed to be the big blockbuster, right? This was
It
you
opened
said
at number
knocked out
one.
Titanic.
It opened at number one. So
Yeah, the music is just atrocious.
Well, again,
Jim mentioned the Creature Shop for the animatronics in this.
I don't remember any of the music in this movie except for right now, and the right now
Good
is
job,
very
Vin
bad.
Burnham. You design good space outfits.
Agreed.
Well, because I like the space outfits because they look like space outfits without looking
modern-
like Nazi outfits, which is oftentimes what
Right.
happens with space outfits.
Yeah, just Hugo Boss. Budget of $80 million. Box office 136.
So
All right.
so just short of being successful.
Yeah,
I wonder how much
20
of that
$20 million in the opening weekend.
I was gonna say I wonder how much of that was opening
Jesus
weekend.
Christ. I don't know what's going on with the soundtrack right now. I mean, it's the end credits, but still, woof.
Yep.
It's bad. I
is
took my
real
headphones
bad.
off because it's bad.
It's real bad.
Yeah, a lot of the reviews were, campy or not campy. Missed a lot of the charm of the original series. Just the dumb kind of shoot 'em up, dim-witted.
So I think that's interesting because nowadays when they reboot something, it's like we're gonna do a gritty reboot.
Yeah,
It's
this
gonna
was the
be
gritty. This was
an
the
adult
This was the
movie.
gritty reboot.
Because
Yeah,
I'm not spoiling anything for you here, Ryan, but they just released the rating for the Avengers Infinity War.
Mm-hmm.
It is an R-rated movie.
What? Wow.
What?
I may be fully mistaken on that, but I saw
I'm
that
gonna
today.
I'm gonna keep an eye on that because
that the first
that
cut,
seems unlikely.
the first submitted cut of that movie is an R-rated movie.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Some
Um,
homework for me.
So,
To our
talking
listener,
about that,
this is we are from the past.
yeah.
To it is mid-April.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll look that up right now. But I think that's a good discussion. That's an interesting discussion to have because a lot of the reboots that we have now those words are specifically taken, right? We're going to make a gritty reboot of this thing. Do you think this movie would have been, if they cleaned up the CGI, right? Take the CGI as it is now and make it modern CGI. Do you think this movie's better received today?
I mean, this is rehashing what we talked about, I don't know, 30 minutes ago, but I think yes. I think with better CGI this movie is more well received, but I don't think that's the main problem this movie has.
No. But I like from a thematic standpoint and from the way that it's shot and everything taken. We talked about the Netflix series. It looks like it's a lot darker. It looks like it's at least as dark as this movie, right? So, from that sense, this was almost ahead of its time?
Question mark?
Question mark?
Yeah.
I mean, not to give it more credit than it deserves, but
it tried to pull back from the campiness of the source material.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and maybe that was back when a lot of people just wanted to just get what they had before. So
Right.
I follow a guy who does some board games that I really like on Twitter. His name's Grant Rodiak, and he's also I believe he's a producer or director for The Sims, right? And he talks consistently about how hard it is for them to release new games because everyone wants everything to be the same but also be different.
But different but better.
Different but better. But also have all the things that they had before and love, but better.
There are so many analogs to that discussion.
Right.
It's
So
just in so many facets of life.
it seems interesting that that's the complaint about this, right? It wasn't the same.
See, I mean that's where I think that our positions, being as somewhat younger men, having seen this movie, I didn't grow up watching the original.
Yeah, I
So
in my 28 years of life, I've seen the original being aired on TV once.
right.
Yeah.
So having seen this movie with no prior exposure to the source material, I hated it. Like I hate this movie.
Right. So let me ask you this, Ryan.
I couldn't find anything about Avengers R rating.
Okay.
That news might be too fresh.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. We grew up watching the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies.
Mhm.
When the Ninja
And the
Turtles
cartoon show.
and the cartoons.
We've
Cartoon
done one
show.
of 3 of them.
Right.
Interestingly, the comic is dark.
Yeah.
The
Right.
cartoons in the movie are not. Michael Bay, and
The-
I know it's Michael Bay, and I know everything.
No, hold on. Wait. Put a pin in it for a second. The first one has some.
The first Ninja Turtles movie is pretty dark, actually, for a PG movie.
It's relative. Yeah, I'll
which
give
is clearly based off the cartoon show.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But the recent Michael Bay movie, and yes, it's Michael Bay. I understand that.
Produced, not
Produced.
directed.
But is a lot darker than what the other ones were supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
When you say the other ones, you mean the show and the
The
movies,
show
or
and the
versus
movies.
the comic?
The show and the movies.
Okay,
Not
got it.
versus the comics.
Okay.
I still didn't like that movie though.
It's not very good.
It's not very
It's
good.
really not. I mean, and again, so you can make a conscious decision tonally on what you want your movie to be. Whether or not that's true to the source material, whatever. But as is common for us to discuss on the show, it's the end result that matters.
Right.
Like the first Ninja Turtles movie produced by Michael Bay, I mean, it's got a lot of flash. It's a lot darker. It's a lot more adult. But it's a fairly hollow experience. I mean, it's just the end result.
Yeah.
Just isn't great.
Just like tonally though, like I think that's a weird thing to experience. To experience something as a child that brought you a lot of joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you turn it on and it's a lot darker.
Sure.
Yeah. Putting a couple pins in it, we said, or I said, this movie's theme felt John Williams light. That's because John Williams wrote the theme for Lost in Space.
Oh.
Now I know.
Also, shout out to our friends at the Mix Six who often talk about the original 3 Ninja Turtles movies and the just existential dread of that first one when like Leonardo was asleep in the tub.
Oh boy.
Not at all what you'd expect like going into that live action movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, thanks, guys. Yep. Oh boy. Well, we just went through the entire credits
Yeah.
in that movie.
Not the first time we've talked through the credits. but
No stinger for anyone who cares.
Yeah.
This isn't Super Mario Brothers.
That blew
No.
my mind that movie had a fucking stinger.
As a child, that stinger got me so excited.
So,
Oh my god.
view again, brew again. I'll start with this one. No.
You
No,
sure don't
for
want to think about
reasons-
that?
For
Is
reasons
that
you've
a
already
brew
heard.
again, Max? Are you knowing the brew again?
No, brew again. Yeah, this is good.
You've got
it's-
2 brew agains to
I want
consider.
to make.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're in a bit of a warm streak for March. So I want this when it's a little warmer just to see if I enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
The kombucha, yeah, sweet but not cloyingly that I don't enjoy it. So yeah, it was good. Kombucha's not something I go to all the time,
Same.
but it's a nice little just change up every now and then.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Oh boy. All right, let's start with the view again.
strap yourselves in.
No, this movie fucking sucks. I hated it almost 20 years ago. I hate it today. I am never going to watch this movie again, ever. I don't like any of it.
Ryan, just think we did this in preparation for when the series comes out next month.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's cool. First world problems, podcasting problems. Yeah, I mean, there are some good spots. There's some cool ideas thematically, but again, a common criticism from us is just the execution is, whether it's disingenuous or they ran out of budget, whatever the reasons. The end result here is very, very poor for almost the entire movie. Excuse me. Brew again. Holy crap! So good work, James. So both of the beers today were chosen by James early, about 3 hours ago.
Good job.
Yeah, the Fireberry, again, yes. Brew again, absolutely. This is very good. Aromatically, just wonderful. The taste is not as big as the aroma would suggest. However, I very much like this beer.
Well, that's what makes it very drinkable, because you don't want your overwhelm your palate.
But so is Unity Vibration, is that the brewery? Is that the name of this beer? Anyone care to venture a guess? The second one.
I think that's the name of the brewery, because I think they had a couple at the
kombucha beer?
At the beer store we went to, which we'll give a shout out on. Is
Beer Baron,
Beer
thanks
Baron,
guys.
which is an amazing beer store in Livonia, Michigan.
Oh yeah, super dense. I mean, the footprint is fairly small, but they have so much fucking beer.
Unity Vibration is the brewer.
It's
Bourbon Peach American Wild Ale is
just the
name of the beer.
Okay. Yeah, that's my new favorite beer store.
They have so much, and the guys who run it are so fun to talk to.
They're so nice.
Yeah. So good work, guys. Thanks for supporting us on our stupid little podcast.
Yeah.
We'll
talk more about that in the future, but like the beer store or having a good beer store to go to is
paramount
vital
to this experience.
Not even just the podcast experience, but any drinker's experience who wants to get who is serious about like seeking out quality and off the wall.
Yeah, I mean,
stuff.
Ryan and I had a good day. We started off today at Motor City Gas, which is a distillery in
Royal Oak, and it is fucking awesome. The guys, I don't know your names. Apologies, guys, if you're listening. If you're not,
well, Ryan, I think we have more homework for you.
Right. Yeah. But no, those guys.
Ryan may or may not have left a couple of cards on the table at Motor City Gas.
We have business cards now. If anyone who follows our Twitter might know. But yeah, those guys, whatever your names are, you always treat everyone super well. The service is great, and your product is fantastic. I have dumped so much money at Motor City Gas, and it's worth every fucking dollar. So good work, guys.
The three of us went about a year ago, and I have vague recollections of it.
So that's one of the few times where Max was fucking destroyed with alcohol, and it was so fun. Anyway, so yeah, that's how we started our day today, and it was a good time. Again, it's St. Patty's Day right now at the time of the recording. But to circle back to the second brew again, from Unity Vibration, this Bourbon Peach American Wild Ale. I love this beer. This is one of my favorite things that we've had on this show. I love it. I love the sourness of it. I love the wildness. I don't get much of the bourbon side of this at all.
It's on the front end.
Even then, it's
subtle.
It's hardly detectable. Yeah. The peach is there. But
it is.
I love the end result. This is absolutely fantastic. I love this beer. This is very good. So yes for me. On both, second. but this is my emphatic yes.
Okay.
On this one.
So, I don't think I hate this movie as much as you guys do.
I don't.
I hate it.
I don't hate this. I'm just like, eh.
And part of that might just be that I have a complete bias towards sci-fi. Like I love sci-fi stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Even more than fantasy stuff. Like I love sci-fi stuff.
I'm probably guilty of the same for horror.
Yeah, I've always been a big star guy. Like I love following probes and rovers and and all that kind of, like anytime NASA releases new photos of Pluto or something.
It's super cool.
I'm looking at all that stuff.
There. So, I stopped reading CNN because they were questioning like the worth of going to Mars, and I'm like, "Fuck you! Yeah. I am done with you." So that was 7 years ago.
Yeah, I've had like existential debates with my wife about the reason why we go to Mars. One of my favorite West Wing episodes, which you guys both know how much I love West Wing.
That's his show.
Yeah, one of my favorite is when they send a probe to Mars and it doesn't work, and the president talks to school kids anyway, and they have a discussion about why we go. and it's because it's over the hill, and that's what we did. Like, it's the nature of humanity to explore. And I mean, those
We
are the
do
things
it
that,
not because it's easy, but
Because
because
it
it's
is
hard.
hard.
yeah, I mean, like, I will listen to that speech over and over again. I listen to that speech probably 5 or 6 times a year, legitimately. Like, there
The
are
Kennedy
things.
speech?
Yes, there
Yeah,
are things that I do that are strange, and I accept that. And I don't tell a lot of people, which is useful because this podcast isn't listened to a lot of people, so that's fair. Anyway, so I have a bit of a soft spot, I guess, for some of the things that they do in this movie, because the third act, I think, does a lot for me here. I really love the third act of this movie. The twist is great.
Yeah, for sure.
It caught me completely off guard. I put this movie on because I knew we were going to watch it, like, at 10 o'clock at night a couple nights ago, or a couple weeks ago, being like, I'm sure I'll make my way through this movie before I fall asleep, and not realizing the movie was like 2 hours long.
Yeah.
I fell asleep far before the third act hit, so I got up to about halfway through the movie, and then I watched it again, and it didn't blow my mind, but it was like, oh wow, this really turns into something much more interesting than the first half of the movie would lead you to believe.
Yeah, like I distinctly remembered the time aspect of it. Like I was probably young enough that this might have been like the first weird time travel story.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna hit you over the head at the very beginning of it, but like time travel is gonna be a thing, like at Chekhov's gun. You
He's
to the point
making
where you're
time
like,
travel
he's making time
machines.
travel machines. Yeah, like
So, actually, Max, I was going to comment on this earlier, but yeah, the time travel aspect of it, I think, to your point, when I was fairly young seeing this movie, that the multiple timeline aspects of the third act hit me pretty hard. I'm going to be honest, it did in this movie, because the moment where Father Robinson watches his family explode in the sky, it's like they're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Like in this timeline that he is witnessing, they are dead.
yeah,
So whatever timeline he goes to, it's just a different family. The ones that he watched die
are dead. Yeah, I mean, they
and
established that.
weighed heavy on me.
Yeah.
Like that actually had an impact on me.
Yeah, I mean, the third act doesn't belong with the first 2 acts of this movie.
Right.
It really doesn't. If the first 2 acts of this movie were as good as the third act was, this movie would not be on this podcast.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah.
So,
Although we just watched the Cell, and that's an amazing movie. But whatever.
yeah.
That movie, like Suicide Squad, also got nominated for an Oscar.
Do not put that movie in the same sentence as Suicide Squad. I will cut you.
I'm dancing in my chair. If you guys can't see it, 'cause we're not doing video.
So it's like I will allow myself to not indulge on this movie. I won't watch this again. I really won't. But I'll remember this movie if that's a new thing. I won't I won't view again. But this movie's going to sit in my mind as a movie that could have been.
Yeah,
it really could have been.
Before we watched this movie, I could have told you the entire plot of this, even though I haven't watched it in 17 years.
The third act is just so well put together. Mm-hmm. It's so well done. And part of it, honestly, is the Expanse that's kicking in. Like Anderson Dawes, Jack Jackson is such a good actor. Jack Johnson is such a good actor. I love him in Fringe, and he showed up in The Expanse as Anderson Dawes, and you need to go watch that show right now.
All right, that's also going on the list whenever James mentions The Expanse.
Time to get hammered.
But when the two of them are together, when Gary Oldman and Jack Johnson are together, it's a different level of movie. That whole scene is next level from what the rest of the movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I kind of wish there was a scene with more of present day Gary Oldman and future Will Robinson.
Yeah.
Just to being like, oh yes, you were the boy I saw you becoming.
Yeah. And even to speak to Ryan's point, like he's looking through the time portal. Future Will is looking through the time portal, and he's like, "Hey, Mom, it's so nice to see you again."
Mm-hmm.
Like that weighs heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
That timeline doesn't go away. In that timeline,
Yeah.
he is literally going to die on that planet alone because everyone else is gone.
With the cutscene with Blarp, he's just gonna go hang out with Blarp.
Yeah. But I mean, that's rough. Like that's a heavy
That's probably
thing
why they
to
cut
think
it, because
about.
it probably was just totally.
Yeah, it totally wasn't there.
disconnecting.
So anyway, no, not a view again. Even though I've just talked about the movie. From a brew again standpoint, I like the
The booch.
the kombucha.
so good.
It's good.
It's-
The smell, like I said, is not the same anywhere near as what the taste is. It's a lot sweeter. But
so much like Fireberry,
yeah, the Fireberry,
as far as the aroma being
far
different.
as the aroma being different, I'll tell you, Fireberry is probably one of the best things I've drank on here. I love this beer.
We are going to have a very interesting episode of 50 where we go through that giant ass list of everything we drank in the last 25 episodes.
Nice.
It's one of those things where it might just be my palate right now.
That's also something we're going to talk about.
Because I loved the...
Stay tuned.
I love that beer from Shorts that did the same thing. The tea and the beer. I think that just...
The hot loins.
The hot loins. I think that just sits with me really well because I really liked that beer as well. I drank a decent amount of tea. I'm not a huge... I wouldn't say I'm a huge tea person, but
I mean, there are a lot of other consonants to imbibe.
Yes, that's correct. Also, I'm from Hawaii, and there's no tea in Hawaii, so,
Oh,
hey.
boy.
Okay.
No, there's, like, the letter T doesn't exist in the Hawaiian language. That's the joke. So
like Old English where you just have a different letter that looks like a T.
No.
Make the T sound.
Samoan has T, but it doesn't. But Hawaiian doesn't. So when you talk about tea leaves or tiki, those are both non-Hawaiian words. Or taro. The K replaces that.
Interesting.
Now you know. Anyway.
Now you know.
I love this beer. I really wish I would have bought the other case of this that was there because I want to have more of this beer.
You know where they're at.
We know where
I
you're
know
going
it's-
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll probably go and buy it. Just because I want to have it around. I want to sit on my porch and drink that beer in the sun with both my hibiscus plants blooming.
Spring
in
is
the
upon
spring.
us.
I can't say enough good things about the Shipyard beer. There's a game day coming up at Brew Detroit through the Loaded Die in April. And I hope
end of April.
that Brew Detroit has
They have
some things on tap that hopefully would hit
They
this.
do. They have all their beers they brew on tap.
Yes, I'm going to drink
Interesting.
so much Fireberry.
Well, time to call in on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
No. It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday one.
Yeah, it's their game day for the whole thing.
It's the International Game Day.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, you're listening, but you can't see my eyes crossing right now, but they are.
So anyway, those are my thoughts. I want this movie to be better. I really do. I want sci-fi to be better. I want it to make people want to explore, and I think that's why I brought up the Neil deGrasse Tyson thing, Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to be excited about space.
Sure.
I want them to look to the sky and remember and believe and be inspired. And those are the things that I think that we lost him this week. Stephen Hawking died this week.
Yes.
Right.
That he sought to do.
Sure.
And I think that's, as the voice of astrophysics and astronomy, you should be an inspiring voice, not a voice that seeks to denigrate the fact that people don't know what you know.
Yeah.
So
I like the story of how he could run over people's toes that he didn't like.
yeah.
And he's sad he never got to remember Margaret Thatcher's toes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So we're gonna end on that positive note. Fuck you, Thatcher. So as always, thank you for joining us. If you like what we do here, please subscribe to us on Apple Podcast, Google Play,
Please rate us.
wherever good podcasts are found, or mediocre podcasts.
Rates and
whatever.
thumbs.
Yep.
Rates and thumbs.
Leave us a review.
Let me see your thumb.
It helps us through the power of algorithms.
Yes.
Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that jazz, and
YouTubes, I
we'll
guess.
see you guys later. As always, please watch
And drink.
Responsibly.
responsibly.
Adios.